Hello and welcome to the Titan Esports Vanquisher League Quarterfinals. My name is Mojo Powell. I am joined today by Leslie. I'm happy to be back after being off the cast for a couple of weeks, and we got a banger today.
Oh yeah, so exciting. I am super glad to have you back as well. And of course, we have TMG Death Knights versus IDH. IDH taking down AFK Exiled last week in their playoff stage, going to 4 games. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, obviously not to be biased or anything, but any games with TMGD, always a great group to watch. Something to stick out to. TMGD does have their full final roster. Homura sliding out of the jungle back into that support role, and Floops, aka Ninja, hopping back into this jungle role. Super excited to see that team continue to grow with that full final roster. Yeah, it's going to be a great set of games.
Yeah, very exciting. TMG Death Knights was the highest ranked team in the regular season in Group A, which has been considered by some to be the hardest of the groups. However, fell a little bit short in the seeding stage last week, losing 2 of their best of ones. Now, best of ones, it's hard to draw conclusions from best of ones, but maybe some of the shakiest TMG Death Knights has been this season.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's definitely some talk about like how serious was seedings taken and some of the champ select stuff that was done. I mean, it just kind of depends. I do agree. They did lose those 2 games, and I think honestly though, I think it doesn't matter. I think as we get into these best of 5s and Fearless, I think TMGD has a great opportunity to kind of take down this league, and I'm excited to see if they can do it.
Sure, yeah, me too. I do think that coming into this match, it should be said that TMGD are heavy favorites and ID Honeyfruit are a bit of an underdog. However, a 3-1 victory last week for ID Honeyfruit is a good sign, right? Is really convincing, and we'll see if this roster rebuild that they've undergone can really carry them through the playoffs, right? They've made it to quarterfinals, and that's really exciting. This is kind of the last big hurdle to be taken like very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to talk about that roster rebuild. Their jungler, Zawap, the only player to stay from week 1 to now what is the quarterfinals of playoffs. And when you look at the series last week against AFK Exile, Zawap was a huge part of their success that series, having a couple of breakout performances, both on the carry side of things. His Elise game absolutely popped off, kind of ran the map. And then he had some supportive game styles too, with Amumu really helping to elevate his team and get them to a victory. So I think that's going to be a huge thing to look out for as we get into draft.
Yeah, here we go. Some things to note in the draft. Nefiri, the current best jungler on the patch, is disabled, I believe, due to the rework. Thank God. I'll be honest, I just don't want to see the hot dog skin.
Yeah, I as restarting my solo queue grind this week, getting back into it as the split dies down. Yeah, Nefiri's not been fun to play against. I can tell you. So I'm glad we won't have to deal with this. I'm glad the players won't have to deal with this. Traditional bans coming out. Some traditional stuff we've seen. Lulu, Aurora, Yone. Karma's been a pretty big pickup. Gwen being another big pickup. It's just going to depend on seeing. The jungle meta has shifted slightly. All of those Darius abusers out there, guess what? Darius still good. A little bit of slowdown right now, but he's still good. Lilia has seen a huge uptick in play in response to that. We've seen a lot of, Cho'Gath mid still kind of fighting its way through. Kale has seen a huge uptick in play. So it'll be interesting to see what IDH decides is their priority pick here on B1.
Yeah, absolutely. We have IDH here on the blue side in game 1, TMGD on the red side, and that is a first pick Jinx for the bot lane of IDH. Jed going with some safe scaling picks on B1.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Obviously, B1 neutral 80 carries is kind of a classic in draft. You have, Jinx, Aphelios, Ashe, Varus, like those champs that you can play with kind of either style of support, giving you a lot of flexibility. So I think that's a great call from IDH. Obviously, Jinx still kind of the 80 carry. Her R nerf going to be coming in, but not going to deter us away from picking her.
Yeah.
Kog'Maw and Vi going to be the lock-ins here from the side of TMG Death Knights.
Yeah, I really like the Vi. I think with sort of the downtick of some of our former, more engage-heavy junglers like Skarner seeing a little bit less play than maybe they used to, I think Vi goes up in priority a little bit. I think Vi is still a great engaged jungler. Something like Kog'Maw on the backline is great too. Ivern now picked up for Zhao PP, and the Braum sort of taken away by IDH. Braum often paired with Kog'Maw, at least on some teams. Not every team likes it. Some prefer enchanters, but Pokemon Braum is a thing, but will be taken away by the Jinx. And Mbessa, ooh, for Night Ravens. That's a fun one.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I mean, one of the matchups to watch really here is, Night Ravens kind of being touted as the best top laner in the league. And kind of seeing how he matches up here against Fozzie Bear is going to be a huge indicator of how this match may go. So, of course, TMGD going to lock that Mbessa in, give himself a couple of protection bans. We see the Volibear being knocked out of play, with IDH kind of leaning towards, taking away a couple of, picks from Fiss's pool to allow Philly B just that opportunity to kind of keep up with what has also been touted as the best mid laner in the league currently as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is important to note that this is a fearless best of 5. So if this series goes the distance, goes to all 5 games, even goes to 4 games, some of these champs that we're seeing banned away now will not be banned away the whole series as teams get progressively fewer and fewer bans in games 4 and 5. So some of these power picks like Lulu, Aurora, Varus, these kinds of things may end up coming out in later games if we get that far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do like, TMG. I am a big believer in like reliable engage, having a go button, like those types of things.
Yeah.
More easy to execute style comps tend to give you an advantage. Although on the side of IDH, I also love like hyperscaling teams, as we see the Azir locked in mid. You've got hyperscaling teams with Braum able to hold off engage and buy space, Poppy doing the same thing, Ivern doing the same thing. I mean, IDH's team comp really says we're going to scale and we are going to create so much space for our Jinx and Azir to just kind of run this game for.
That's some really strong stuff, and I will say, as much as we've been touting Night Ravens, as the resident Mbessa one trick myself, oh my god, is this matchup miserable. Mbessa into Poppy is a depressing time to be a top laner. However, yeah, I think stylistically, what you pointed out is totally correct, that IDH has gone with this sort of hyper-scaling, like, front to back, making space with their sort of role players in the top jungle and support. Whereas TMG DK, I think, really has picked some, like, strong playmaking options here. Homura, when he was in the jungle up until, I believe, last week, was an excellent playmaker, right? We saw him a lot on the things like Xin Zhao, these sort of engage options, and now on the Bard will hopefully have the ability to play kind of like he did as a jungler, right? And roam through the lanes, make plays on the map, and sort of enable the rest of his team.
Yeah, and one of the things I do want to point out about TMGD, and I think why they've had a lot of success, this is something I tend to live by, vision wins games. And I think TMGD has done a great job of, even when they had Mitsuki there as a support, like the ability to kind of get around the map and place vision down and create opportunities for themselves. So I think we're going to be looking for the same thing out of Homura here on this Bard, is his ability to kind of move around the map, prior to objectives and get that vision down to get us started.
Absolutely. Here we go. We are hopping onto the Rift for game 1 of our best of 5 quarterfinal. ID Honeyfruit taking on TMG Death Knights. It's going to be a banger. I am happy to be here with you all. As here we go, loading onto the Rift. Teams are heading out. Red side a traditional opening, whereas our blue side all in top lane. Got to be sure they don't stay here too long to activate those recent patch lane swap nerfs, but nerfs is the wrong word. Maybe lane swap destruction. So see, they will find Night Ravens here walking into the top side. Tribush Night Ravens starts the W. Happens in these sort of bad matchups, gets away, and we're gonna go back to pretty standard lanes.
Yeah, just IDH. I mean, I like it. You gotta see them getting some vision down. Of course, the response from TMGD to be working their way into that red side jungle, getting some vision down for themselves. I mean, looking at these team comps, we always ask this question, which comp do you like more? On your own personal opinion, which comp are you going to give the edge to for this game?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think that my thought that TMGD is the stronger team, I am not going to let that sway me. I really like IDH's team comp. I'm a fan of front to back. I think that they've done well at playing into TMG's strengths, right? Saying, hey, look, Night Ravens is probably your best player, maybe one of the best players in the league. We're going to try and neutralize him with a really oppressive matchup at the top side. As we see, Zhao PP actually invading here on the top side, getting a lot of damage on a ninja, but the Vi's coming in. Oh, Zhao PP may have to flash the wall. We'll see. Yeah, it does flash the wall on Ivern as Fist roams up from the mid lane to try and help out his jungler. Now rooted up, taking a bit of damage from the Sand Soldiers. Fist gonna lose a little bit of his health, but flashless Ivern could matter. As, oh wow, Ninja going over the wall, actually trying to get some punishment onto Philly B. Fist does hit level 2 first, gets the seismic shove. Philly B now chunked all the way out. This is a banger of a mid 2v2.
Yeah, it's just a lot of work going in first. Ooh, we just see some stuff going down at the top. Night
Yeah.
Raven's in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, grounded.
Ooh, as you
Expect to see
said.
the word grounded every time we pan top lane.
Yeah, as you said, just definitely out doing some more invading here.
Yeah, we'll see. He's actually stunned up Homura with the roam up. That is first blood to Ninja on the Vi. Really well played. Getting invaded at level 2 and saying, hey, no, I'm stronger in these early levels. I'm Vi, you're Ivern, you can't fight me. And like we were pointing out, a great roam timer from Homura. Lets him come up, secure that first blood. That's a good play from TMG DK. As you see Fozzie Bear engaging on a Night Ravens. That's a solo kill in the top lane. Oh, that's punishing. That is a lot of minions missed on the Mbessa.
Yeah, absolutely great dive there. Seeing that jungle 2v2, understanding that he's completely free and clear to kind of, no danger to make this dive, and just very well played by by Fozzie Bear. I mean, we talked about this Fozzie Bear Night Ravens matchup, right? I think, like you said, them giving Fozzie Bear a great opportunity to try to put the best top laner in the league at a disadvantage.
Yeah, look, it seems like Fozzie read that content and he didn't like what he saw. that's all I'm gonna say. As you see back here in the mid lane, Philly B and Fizz have yet to recall, so both actually still quite low. Jappy coming around the back. We'll see if this flank works out. Fizz does still have his flash on the Talia, but is pushed up really far. Wants to get that last minion shoved into the tower. Is now going to have to retreat. Gets that passive on the wall. Homura and Floops are here on the backside to protect him, so Fizz going to get to walk out safe. Ivern going to move down, clear his bot cams. Ivern still level 2. Important to note, as can happen on Ivern sometimes when your camps are up and you have yet to sort of come and actually claim those passive procs. We'll see. We'll probably hit level 3 very soon. Wow, a solo kill in the mid lane as well. Fist just walks up and kills Philly B. Maybe a bit of an overextension there.
Yeah, and Fist, I mean, just gets him caught out, the seismic shove. I mean, obviously not able to dash away. Definitely somewhat of a counter matchup for the side of Fist there on the Talia. But yeah, great back and forth here from the solo lanes already on both sides. This push going to be pretty dominating again. I mean, I think if you're TMGD here, you have to send this Vi to cover, right? And I'd love to see what the XP is, but of course, Fozzie Bear going to take a little bit of a trade, prepping this kind of last wave. But if he can hit 6 going into crashing this wave, if they're not careful, Night Ravens could be in trouble getting dived again. But it does look like he's just going to back off a little bit here. Allow him safe to kind of go back, get an item, use this opportunity to, Philly B is in a lot of trouble. He's going to dash over the wall. FYS, flashing forward. Going to take him down one more time. A little bit of a roam from Homura here. Wow, great. That's just another big play here. FYS really trying to put some down here. Obviously, Crushing Rock going to take a little bit of heat from that, but is just going to go ahead and soak up those minions coming down here, as we do see some rotations in theory going to get in. But Ninja going forward on the Vi, concussive blows, going to proc, but not going to be able to get anything else done here, as we do kind of posture around this first dragon. And TMGD is going to take a crack at it here. Not too much they can do unless Philly B is able to get this wave. It does look like he's rotating, so they may be able to push him off here. But nothing too terrible here. It does look like they're going to go ahead and give that dragon a reset, and Floops is going to get caught. Of course, Zhao going to be locked up here as they are pushing on Zed. Ooh, the seismic shove going to land as Jed flashes away. Floops on the backside here on Zhao. Something to keep your eye on here. Jinx moving forward. Oh, we're going to get the stun here. We are going to look to get a Jinx reset. Jinx is going to get the reset. FYS. Oh, Floops is going to take down the Zhyop there. However, this Jed still on a reset here. Is Homura going to be able to get away the Sand Shoulder? The double stun going to be huge, as they're going to go to Hilder retreat. As Floops on the backside, Jed going to be knocked down, and another kill going to go over to the side of TMG. Crushing Rock. This TP going to lock in. Zenthira in a little bit of trouble. Can they escape here? Looks like 81 HP going to be down, and they are going to get the final auto from Crushing Rock. And that is going to be 2 kills going over to the side of this Kog'Maw. As we do see grounded one more time on the top. Fozzie Bear does have level 6. Could be in danger here as he goes to crash this wave. Definitely something to look out for. This is a potential dive. You've got to keep an eye on it. Fozzie Bear just looking to get a little bit of damage, but maybe thinks better of it, as his not going to go ahead and take this final fight here. And that is a huge win for the side of TMGD, as they do take down this dragon.
Oof, yeah. Shout out to you, Leslie, for taking over there. I had a bit of a headphone malfunction there and couldn't hear what was going on, but I certainly saw it. And what we're seeing is a little bit disgusting. A lot of kills going over to TMGD.
Yeah, and Fozzie Bear just kind of continuing to control the wave in this matchup, right? Credit to Night Ravens, even after that dive, he's keeping up very well in CS, but Fozzie Bear definitely has control and full priority as this lane is going right now.
Yeah, and that's just kind of how this goes, but I think we really need to draw attention to the rest of the map, right? Where TMGD, like, what they need, to be fair, what they need in these drafts is to get advantages like this in the jungle, in the bot lane, but they're getting them, right? They're getting them almost for free. The only place they've been able to punish is that top lane. You see Homura and Fizz roaming up here to the top lane, trying to ease some of the pressure off of Night Ravens, who, again, as we said, is still suffering a bit up here in the trades, but going even in CS, which is really huge. To say, coming out of the lane phase, if he can keep up this CS not differential, if he can keep the CS completely even, be a really happy Mbessa moving into the mid game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing to note here too is when you look at those two scaling bot laners, right? I mean, Kog'Maw, he may be down a wave, but I mean, he's got 2 kills. He's got a good influx of gold from that skirmish, and we are going to see, of course, the normal trade of objectives. TMGD taking down that first dragon. IDH going to get priority through top lane, through the Poppy, and they are going to go ahead and take down that first set of grubs.
Yep, totally normal. Exactly what we typically see. I like dragons for TMGD. I think that against a scaling comp, you want dragons first if you are not the scaling comp yourself, so that you have maybe some way to combat that sort of inevitable soul kind of fights in which you may be at a disadvantage if your team comp doesn't scale quite as well. So I like it, but end of the day, it doesn't often matter too much which objective which team gets at the beginning, just that you each get one.
Absolutely, and I think, I looking at strong sign laters, I know Azir, definitely known for taking towers out in the late game, so getting those grubs, definitely not something you're upset about in that trade. I mean, obviously, I don't think you can give away too many dragons, but I think, especially considering your skirmish, you're just happy to be getting an objective at all.
Yeah, totally. Tilia probably not going to be able to match him as well as some other picks in the side lane later in the game. Tilia better at roaming around the map and making plays, but maybe not quite as good at pushing the side lane. As you see, Ninja here on the Vi is on a bit of a flank. Unspotted so far, has walked into the jungle. The Krugs have not yet been taken by Jappy, but there it is. Smites them away, as we'll see if I can steal away the enemy Raptors here. Is level 7 to only level 6 on the Ivern, but Ivern does have a full item yet. As actually, Vi maybe a little overextended. No, Ceaseless is in onto the Azir, is forced to shuffle him away. Alt for alt trade on Vi and Azir is roughly even, I would say. As we see, Fozzie has actually TP'd in here from topside. Probably going to drop an entire wave to Night Ravens for this. Not really going to get anything done, so maybe a bit of a miscommunication there as to whether or not they were going in. Overall, a bit of an advantage to TMGD. IDH looking maybe a little bit nervous.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can see that potential fight breaking out right when they figured out where Ninja was, and we have something going on here on the bot side.
Yeah, concussive blows stacked up on Homura, but not gonna stun him up yet. Gonna walk out with only 3 stacks on that. Says, I'm fine. I'm gonna walk out here. I got my jungler behind me. You don't want to fight this. And you know what? He's right.
Looks like Fizz, and they're still rotating down. Maybe looking for a play
here.
Weaver's
He is
wall.
here. There's the Weaver's Wall. Gotta cut him off. Xanthera seems a little bit stuck. Flash away from the sides with jump from Jed as Xanthera will jump in, stand behind me, force a flash as well. That is both flashes out for the bot side of IDH for only the ultimate from Fizz. A really great roam on the Talia there. See some trading up here. The top side finally starting to go Night Raven's way. I would like to call attention to the Poppy build, by the way, while we're up here. That is an Eclipse. First item on the Poppy. Not maybe the typical. I'm not up to date on Poppy builds exactly, but I don't imagine it's normally Eclipse.
So some Bruiser builds right now, seeing Eclipse into Sundered Sky. I mean, we'll see. I tend to think, especially when you look at this matchup and your damage profile, I don't think you need Eclipse, right? I mean, I think you want to just go Sundered Sky into full tank, buying as much space and time as you can for Jinx and for Azir. But you know what? Maybe that's how he tries to keep up in this matchup, as we do know Mbessa kind of hit the point where the cooldowns are low enough and you can start to kind of outscale this Poppy and get away with doing more. So that may be their opportunity to cancel this. Is Ninja in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, we'll see. He started with the grubs here, but has no vision of the rest of IDH. Actually,
Yeah, it looks like the root collar going to get him down, and
Maybe a little
unfortunately,
overextended for these grubs. These are not theirs to take.
yeah,
There we go,
absolutely.
sorry. Having
Oh,
a
no,
bit more
you're
lag.
good.
You see the fight continuing. The shuffle. Philly B forced to flash out. Hamura taken really, really low. Fozzie flashes in, stun up against the wall for Crushing Rock, but he's low and alive still too. Night Ravens is here though. The Ambessa in the backside lacerating the team. Fozzie Bear is now stuck in there. No flash, no TP, no way out. Crushing Rock pops the barrier. 3 kills to TMG DK. It's a disaster for IDH. They tried to contest those grubs, but it is all for TMGD.
Yeah, and this Bard, keep an idea here, like they aren't able to save Ninja, but this Tempered Fate from Bard still buys so much time for the team to kind of collapse and turn this into a winning fight. I mean, just absolutely great. This the root collar, yeah. I mean, Ninja just nowhere really to go, but this Tempered Fate buys so much time for the team to get over here, and Philly B unfortunately just takes a lot of free damage here, and the shuffle just not doing too much. And
yeah, I
able to
see the angle. He's looking for the fight there, but it just doesn't quite work. And the Night Ravens gets perfectly into the backside with that public execution onto the, I believe it was onto the Ivern, right? Or maybe onto the Azir, but like then comboing the Q1 and Q2 onto them both, getting an easy double kill. Fozzie Bear had a great engage there, to be completely honest, but like nobody could follow up. Philly B was already forced to flash back out after the shuffle, right? So it just...
Yeah, it looks like TMGD is going to go ahead and take down this second dragon here. Of course, IDH is going to go ahead and get 5 of the 6 grubs. Something to note, Ninja did get 1 grub. It is going to stop them from progressing feats of warfare, but still 5 grubs. Going to go ahead and get those grubs passive as we see another neutral objective trade here.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 Drakes for TMGD though is a little scary if you're IDH, right? I don't think you maybe wanted to give up both Drakes for the grubs, especially not even getting 6 grubs, right? That could be a little bit scary. As we see Tempered Fate onto the tower here. Ooh, we'll see. Can he get out Jed? No, he is stunned up way too much. Cease and desist with the Vi. He will flash from that Fisher there from the Braum. We'll see Braum by himself here still. I don't know that he could really be fighting this or even staying under this tower. We'll see if they look to re-dive. They're clearing up the wave. Yeah, it seems like they want to. Xanthera, nothing he could do about it. No way his team can get to him. They are just prepping this re-dive. They may even get to take the tower as well. Xanthera will fall here eventually. Kill goes over to Crushing Rock, which is very important. And Fist fighting back here in the mid lane. Gonna find a solo kill onto Philly B, baby. Yeah, the 3rd tower shot ramps up enough. Oh, IDH, a disaster. They're losing the trade on the top side as well. We'll see if Night Ravens wants to continue it. Yeah, E in, E2 in. We'll see. Still has the ultimate. Nope. Is gonna get out with the Keeper's Verdict. Although running back in, Fozzie Bear may have to retreat or could. Ooh, just barely dodges out on the public execution. Wow, TMGD is making plays all over the map.
Yeah, and I mean, as we said, Hamura has just done a great job of being able to rotate around the map, make himself available for plays. I mean, 0-0 and 10, has almost, as well, just pushing 90% kill participation. I mean, doing a great job. And as we talked about, getting this vision down, doing what they're able to do. And obviously that extra attention, getting those grubs and things did open up this bot side and first tower. And that's feats of warfare for the side of TMGD.
Yeah, and the story of this game so far for me on the side of IDH, is just a little bit of like miscoordination, especially around the mid lane, right? Philly B often going in while other people like Zhaop or Jed or Fozzie Bear are going out, right? We saw there in the mid lane, they maybe tried to get some kind of cross-mat play onto Fizz, onto that mid tower, maybe see if they could use their 5 grubs to take the mid tower while TMG was diving the bot side, but it doesn't work. Zhaop starts walking back, and Philly B starts walking up and gets caught with the seismic shove and just tanks at the tower for too long, right? So like the communication just a little bit off. They're gonna need to regroup and start fighting together as a unit if they want to come back.
Absolutely, because I mean, team comp wise, I'm with you. I like IDH's team comp. I think they have the ability to create a ton of space for their carries. But like you said, I mean, the downside, you look at Philly B here, he's got a ways to go before he's a real threat. And I think that's going to be the question: is can they reach this critical point where they have the damage to win fights before TMG just ends it? And I mean, they're 3K behind at 17 minutes. I mean, they've got to find a way to stem the bleeding quickly.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but it's pretty close, right? Like the game is not lost by any stretch of the imagination. More free to just walk into their jungle, set up a little vision. He can get out with the portals. It's easy for the Bard. But yeah, the game not over for IDH by any stretch of the imagination. As you said, they're only down 3K, which like at 17 minutes is a lot. But if they can stem the bleeding now, if they can stop losing more and more gold, if they can maybe look to walk up, put some pressure on the mid tower, put some pressure on the top tower here, while the Rift Tower actually falls way too quickly. Excuse me. No way they can get any pressure on this wave, as that Rift Herald will fall to TMGD. But we'll see, like I said, if they can stem the bleeding here, maybe they can start a comeback. Maybe they can look to fight. I doubt they'll be ready to fight in a minute for this third dragon, right? So maybe they just have to try and fight the soul point. For TMGD, we'll see as TMG setting up a dive here on the top side. Fozbear knows it's coming. Oh, but gets hit with the Tempered Fate anyway. Floop's happy to tank up the tower here. Although, really well played from Fozzy. Pop the W immediately, flashes out, and does avoid the tower dive. But the tower itself may now fall to TMGD.
Yeah, and of course, Night Ravens being in the position he is, Philly B not able to contest on that bot side, so not able to put any pressure on that tower. So we may have something happening here.
Yeah, Mora wants the tower. We'll see if he can get it. Yeah, Vi comes in for the backside and does get that tower. Cease and desist now onto Fozzie, but that is a tanky Poppy so far. Stuns him up with the Keeper's Verdict, and this guy is in the bounce house. Floops is up and down, and then sent right back to the fountain. Samura will get out. Flash Q from Xiaop will not land as Samura flashes it as well. They get the tower, but maybe a bit of an overextension. But as we see here, Philly B teleported up for that play, and Night Ravens is free to farm, free to push in on the tier 2 on the bot side here. So cross map okay from TMGD. We can excuse the overextension a little bit. Oh, is again Philly B, maybe the one overextended. He dashes in, he tries to get the shovel, he does get a return kill on a Hamura. That's a shutdown for Philly B. 1 for 1, not the worst in the world. IDH making some moves.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're IDH, you're very happy with that because they have to send 2 up there to answer you, and it opens up this drag, right? And yeah, Night Raven's got some damage on that tower, and I think that's important to note as he's going to have pressure, but it gives you a look in, but TMG may not be willing to give it up so easily.
Yeah, they don't want to. Here comes the teleport. Oh, Public Execution is in there. Night Ravens is right in the backside. Rift Tail summoned up. Oh, and the Hellports for IDH are just melting so quickly. Fist does so much damage. Ivor does secure the Drake, but it looks like all of IDH are going to pay for it with their lives. 3 for 0 so far. Fozzie Bear in the midst of enemy lines, trying his best to run out, but the Weaver's Wall may seal the deal for him. 4 for 0 in terms of kills to TMGD. Okay. They lost the dragon. Sure, they got mid tower. They got 4 kills. They're going to keep pressing this advantage. That has blown the game wide open. The gold lead now up to 6,000 in favor of TMGD, and they're just going to start up the Otacon.
Yeah, I mean, I think a thing to note is with your IDH, the way your team con is built is you have to be able to absorb that engage, and then you create space for your carries, right? But because you're so far behind, you can't absorb the engage. I mean, you absorbing the engage is dying. I mean, I think we saw that, I also think something for them is they don't want to fight in these corridors, right? As we saw that in those tight spaces right around the opening to Dragon Pit, Fist able to kind of get the Unraveled Earth down and just really able to kind of shut down any opportunity for them to make plays and buy space. So they're definitely going to have to change up how they approach these objectives if they want to make a bigger impact.
Yeah, that's a good call. I would love to see them hold on to some of these ultimates, and I don't know quite if they did it in the last fight or not. I wasn't really watching Philly B, but like hold on to some of these ultimates like the Azir ulti, like the Braum ulti, like even the Poppy ulti, the Keeper's Verdict, to use as disengage tools, right? So many times Philly B has been going in and trying to shuffle TMGD in, when in reality, I think you just got to hold on to that as a defensive option, right? And push them away when they get in, right? You can't stop Mbessa from getting in, but you can try to push her out once she's there, isolate her once she's there. Same with Vi. Right? But it's proving to be really difficult. When you're this far behind, sometimes Vi and Abessa get into your backline and the fight's just over.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the solo laners, Fist did a great job. Fozzie Bear maybe in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, we'll see. Try and get the wave. That's a good ulti. There you go. See? Use it defensively. And it worked.
Yeah. But Fist did a great job of getting an advantage, moving himself around the map. Night Ravens did an excellent job of absorbing pressure. Tempered Fate going to go just a little bit wide there, but we are going to get a lot of pressure inside this jungle from TMGD. But great performance from the solo laners, and then of course that rotation and that skirmish early just gave their bot side so much pressure. It's just been hard for them to recover since.
Yeah, so that's a good call. I mean, from even the early days of Vanquisher League, this split, what we've seen from Fizz is a really exceptional ability to push and move and make plays on the side lane. Season they're taking a bit of pain here, just trying to walk into his own jungle, but he's not allowed. Has to pop the ult. He's gonna die anyway. The season desist takes him down from Floops. The mid tier 2 will fall. The bot tier 2 looking to come close afterwards. Objective bounty claimed on the top side, but now Fozbear's got to get back here. His whole team is dying under the bot tier 2. They still have the Otacon buff. They still have those false lives to just retreat if they need to. Night Raven's not even going to proc the retreat. That's mid tier 2 down. That's bot tier 2 down. That's 3 kills for TMGD. What can't they get?
Yeah, I mean, I think TMGD is doing a great job of pushing the tempo of this game, trying to capture what gold is left on the map. And like we said, you know, IDH needs time to get into this game, and TMGD is not going to let them do it.
Yeah, that's for sure right. I like that call out. They're pushing the tempo. They really are. They use this play like this was a little tough to manage, right? They got the Otacon really early on, like on spawn at 20 minutes, and it didn't really overlap with any other objectives, any other neutral objectives, right? You can't get the Baron off of it. You can't get the Dragon off of it. So what they did instead was, you're right, they overloaded one side of the map, the bot side. They pushed their way into the jungle, got vision, found a pick, led into 2 picks, led into 3 picks, led into a couple of towers, right? So really, really good. You're right, pushing the tempo from TMGD. We'll see if they can keep that up, sort of keep the pedal to the metal for the end of the game, as this next Dragon coming up here in about 50 seconds. This would be the 3rd Drake for TMGD. What do you want to do if you're IDH here? Are we giving it? Are we contesting it?
I mean, I think you have to give it. Obviously, Fizz in a little bit of trouble. Root Caller gonna land.
Yeah, the decision may change now if Fizz falls, but not gonna fall quite yet. Oh my god, he turns it back around. He does die eventually to Philly B, but Philly B now stunned up. Crushing Rock barriered and walked out. Oh, Philly B flashing in, finds the play under Crushing Rock. That's 2 kills so far for the Azir. Make that. Those 3 as the Kog'Maw death passive gets him. And Homura has been an escape artist this game. Escapes barely with his life, but some nice aggressive positioning there from Philly B. Got a couple of kills, but as you see, I believe Fozzie Bear died on the bot side of the map here. Night Raven's pushing in on the inhibitor tower now. Gonna take it. Doesn't even need the grubs to claim that one. Gets it, walks out. They're gonna move towards this dragon. I agree with you that they probably were gonna give it, but now they're forced to.
Yeah, the silver lining there is that Philly B gets some gold, right? I mean, one of these carries that you need to gets a great amount of gold. But I also want to point our way. I don't feel like we talk about itemization enough, and I think I want to look at like Night Ravens really locking in and understanding, like, hey, I'm going to take this Serpent's Fang, because the only way that Azir and Jinx survive us getting in their backline, right, is the shielding that we're going to get out here from the Ivern. You know, the trigger seed the trigger seed, just able to try to keep them alive. And he says, nope, I'm not going to give you that opportunity. I'm going to itemize. I understand what my job is. And I love that. I love to see that prioritizing the correct item path as games go on.
Yeah, it's a really good call. And actually, I want to draw our attention now to the bot lane itemizations, just to show that's 3 full items for Crushing Rock, 1 completed item for Jed, right? He invested a little bit in that Executioner's Calling, which maybe not quite necessary this game, I would argue, but that set him back a little bit of gold, and he still only has 1 completed item. As now we're fighting over the Baron here. TMGD is going for the Baron. They don't care if Night Ravens dies on the bot side. Philly B TPing in down here. They're trying to pick the Mbessa, but it just doesn't matter. They're going to get the Baron anyway, and they can't even catch him. He's got 1,000 dashes. He dashes out so many times. Philly B is now invested in teleport. They're giving Baron for free on the top side. This gold lead is now 9,000 in favor of TMG Death Knights. If they can't close this game out in the next couple of minutes, it's it'd be a little tough. We'll see what they can get. Turret does fall on the bot side for IDH, but it's looking a bit doomed.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Obviously, you're trying to make a pick here and trying to get something done, but they took too long, I think, to decide. You know, I think you made a comment earlier, right? Just maybe a little nervous, maybe a little bit of uncoordinated, not all on the same page, and obviously they just gave Night Ravens plenty of time to kind of kite his way out. You know, Fozzie Bear trying to buy time for Philly B to TP in, but, you know, we know the TP changes, making that a lot more difficult nowadays. And I think, I just tried to make a cross-map play, and it didn't work out, and it's going to cost them probably the game here.
Yeah, it seems like it. Although the game was a little bit sealed before that, as Synthera gonna dodge just out of the way of the seismic shove, but not of the tempered fate. However, I don't think there's quite enough follow up in the area. That seemed like an unnecessary ultimate, but it maybe had to do it just to disengage. We see Floops is here now in the jungle, unseen so far. Let's see if they could pick Braum again from the same bush. They can't yet, but one thing Kog'Maw's pretty good at here is sieging. He's going to get some damage onto these towers from far away as the Braum, stunned up, takes so much damage, has to run out. Night Ravens is pushing in the bot side, pushing in this inhibitor. Philly B cannot stop him as there they go. Forced to move down towards the Mbessa. They're going to lose their bot inhib and their mid inhib for it. The Weaver's Wall is down. Fozzie hits the Keeper's Verdict onto just the Bard, though maybe not enough, as we'll see Fist trying to get out, taken quite low by the Redemption. Forces Zone uses Floops is in there, maybe a little bit too deep. Yeah, falls, but oh, Crushing Rock on the top of the fight is putting in so much damage. Jed starts getting the resets, but it doesn't matter. It's a double kill. It's a triple kill for Crushing Rock to close out this game one. TMG Death Knight's gonna take it home.
Yeah, what do you say? I mean, Crushing Rock free hitting on the backside. Night Raven just absolutely so far ahead. Ooh, the shove gonna go, but not
Philly
be able to.
It's a valiant effort, but it's all for naught.
Yeah, I appreciate the try, but definitely not gonna be able to get anything done there. TMGD, I mean, they just kind of ran with it. The game was a little bit back and forth, that mid 2v2 as we saw in the beginning, but that bot side skirmish just absolutely pushing the tempo, and TMGD grabbed the lead and never let it go.
Yeah, it's something you said in the middle of the game that I think was a really great call, right? Was them pushing the tempo. The way that they did that, the way that they proactively found plays using their advantage, right? Not comfortable to just sit on an advantage and scale later, stacking up their dragons, saying, no, look, we found an advantage. We can push that through these lanes. We know how to translate our gold leads into more kills, into more gold leads, into towers and things like that. And it's what we've seen from them all season, right? They're really good at moving around the map as a unit. They're really good at picking and finding the right plays, at engaging as a team, and that's what won them this game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they made the right call too, because when you look at it, I mean, Philly B put out damage. I mean, he was right there with them. It just, they said, you know what, we're not going to give you the opportunity to just, because again, you're going to hit a point where, like, if Jinx and or Azir at any point just get the free hit, kind of like Kog'Maw's, like, you're just going to take over a fight. And like you said, I mean, pushing the tempo, they did a great job of just, nope, we're going to keep putting you on the back foot. We're not going to allow you this opportunity. And credit to IDH, they tried, right? I mean, they got those 2 kills onto Philly B and tried to make some things happen. And obviously they were too far behind to make a difference. But, again, TMGD did a great job, and it's a pretty dominating game one from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Fozzie. I actually think he played really, really well. I know the KDA at the end is maybe not what he would have hoped, but got that solo kill up at the top side early on, was actually putting in some work, making some space in the fights, I think more than the rest of his team potentially. And Zhao, I think, played pretty well as well, but Ivern, there's not as much agency there to actually affect the game, right? As you said, the ball was in TMG's court the entire game, right? They were the ones deciding the plays, deciding where everyone was going to fight. And IDH was just sort of forced to run around the map and answer them on those. So what do you want to see going into game 2? If you're IDH, you're going back to the drawing board here, what are you thinking about?
Well, like I said, I mean, when I think about drafting, I think about a couple of key things. The biggest one for me being reliable engage and damage, right? I mean, and obviously CC needs to be built in there, but I think if you're IDH, you have to put yourselves in a position to control the tempo of the game. And then what that means is having some reliable engage options, as well as having at least 1, if not 2, strong solo lanes. Obviously, like you said, Fozzie Bear, I think, did a great job in the early levels of really trying to have that lane domination. Unfortunately, because mid struggled so much and then bot struggled after that skirmish, it just didn't matter, right? So I do want to see strong solo lanes, at least in 1, and then using that priority to kind of push around. And then, like I said, I want to see them have the ability to choose their fights, right? The ability to kind of control the tempo on their own, and that comes from really reliable engage. So that's what I'd like to see coming into game 2.
Sure. Looking for a bit of back to the drawing board for IDH, see if they can change up their draft strategy going into game 2. Here, reminder, this is a best of 5. so the backs are not against the wall yet. This game one could end up not even mattering. We'll see if IDH can regroup, if they can come back in stronger and pick up game two. We're going to head to a break. We'll be right back.
You do like you do like crazy, oh 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy, crazy, oh oh crazy, oh 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 crazy, 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 you do like
All right, welcome back to Game 2 of our Vanquisher League quarterfinals. I'm Mojo Pal, that's Leslie. If you missed it, TMG Death Knights took a very decisive Game 1 over ID Honeyfruit.
Yeah, it was, like I said, there was a lot of kind of back and forth in this mid 2v2, Ninja kind of fending off Japs invades there for a minute, and then one skirmish goes wrong bot lane, and the game just kind of never turned back around for IDH. I do want to shout out, credit to Fozzie Bear, solo kill on the top lane, definitely had priority for almost the entire laning phase. I mean, pretty much did the best he could, and just unfortunately the rest of the map kind of crumbled around him.
Yeah, but that's League sometimes, right? You lose an early skirmish, the game snowballs out of control, and sometimes there's not much you could do about it. Now, I do think there are things they could have done about it and can do about it going forwards, but the best thing to do in between the games is just wipe it from your mental, right? Just clean slate, reset, let's go into Game 2, and let's try to get the early advantages.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to see what IDH changes going into Game 2 as far as their draft strategy. Are they going to stay on blue side? Do they want to keep forcing kind of this flexibility and neutral AD carry picks that allows their comp to evolve, or do they just want to go R5 and continue to give great matchups to Fozzie Bear, as he has shown some life and the ability to compete? I don't know. What I want to see, no matter what, is I want to see a go button on the side of IDH as we get into draft for game number 2.
All right, so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for clear engage from the side of IDH, who is on red side. This game 2, TMG Death Knights has moved over to the blue side. Gonna keep the bans about the same so far, at least TMGD banning out the Yone. Maybe they don't play it. Maybe they just hate playing against it. Who knows? They don't want it in the game.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think you called it out earlier pretty great. It's games 1, 2, and then probably 3. The ban's probably not going to see a huge change up. Maybe a little bit of variation on the side selection, as we do see Akshan going to be locked in here on the blue side. But until we kind of get later, I don't expect too much change in what these teams don't want to play against. Is the Aurora going to be locked out one more time? Not too surprising at this stage.
Yep. Yeah, well, we'll have to see if these last ones match the last ones. They do so far. That's a Varus ban. I believe we're looking for... I can't remember what the third ban was from IDH last game, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to be one of these power picks. Maokai this time, I believe, was not what it was last time. I'm not remembering what it was. Well, to see what B1 is here for TMGD, what power picks are still on the table that you'd want to see?
I mean, from Fizz and myself, Quay. Quay is still open. They are going to decide Gwen. Gwen was one of the best fans last game. But they are going to say, hey, you know what? We're going to give Night Ravens one of his power picks. Answer it. What do you got, right? I mean, it's kind of throwing the gauntlet down to Fozzie Bear, as Corky going to be locked in for IDH. For those of you, just the info, obviously this is best of 5 fearless. If you look down towards the bottom of the screen, you will see the champs that have already been played in each role, just as an extra way to kind of help us keep up with it, as Nami going to be the lock-in here to potentially pair with Corky in this bot lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out production. That fearless graphics is actually really clean. I feel like even some of the major region broadcasts have struggled to figure out a clean way of doing it, and I like what we've got going on here. Sivir going to be the response for crushing rock into the Corky. Assuming the Corky is bot lane, it could always go to Philly B in the mid lane. We'll have to see, but Sivir Thresh going to be the bot lane pairing. A little bit of playmaking for Hamura as we like to see him on, and crushing rock just going to stay safe and try to hyper carry.
Yeah, Crushing Rock does a pretty good job just sitting back, and I'm going to farm well and wait for my opportunity to kind of find those things. Mundo going to be locked in and realistically going to be the answer to Gwen. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. I mean, you're the top lane guy, right? How's that matchup? I mean, that doesn't.
I'm the top lane guy. I'm not a Gwen guy. I'm gonna be honest. We're just gonna look this one up. Gwen match. Like I can't imagine it's Mundo favored, but we're picking it into the Gwen, so there's got to be something there. No, it's Gwen's third highest win rate matchup.
Yeah, I can't imagine. You gotta understand Gwen's W, just that field, able to dodge cleavers pretty well, the extra resistances. I mean, I'm sure Mundo runs the matchup early, right? I mean, I can imagine. Sure. As Mundo often does, but I mean, you're gonna hit 6, and as you get to your second item spikes, I mean, I just can't imagine as the game goes on in these side lanes that it's gonna be able to do anything to Gwen. So we'll have to see what they do as they do go ahead and lock in Xin Zhao. I do like that, a little more aggressive, not quite what I would call a go button, but more than they had in the previous game, so I'll take it. It is something. As
Absolutely.
Poppy, that's not going to be a Poppy. We'll have to see what that does come out to be. Obviously, Fearless. Poppy's been played already. We'll have to see that again. So we'll get a quick catch here to see what that champ's actually going to be. Same thing with the Azir here.
Azir and Poppy will not be the picks. Let's see what those actually are. I have looked it up. Mundo's worst matchup in Emerald Plus solo queue data is Gwen. It is 42% for Dr. Mundo in Emerald Plus solo queue. So we'll have to see. Our observer is here in the chat here saying that Mundo just needs to get to level 16. And if he does, he's okay. But we'll see. TMGD is, as we said last game, really good at pushing their advantages, good at winning out from early leads. So
the game was over by 16 last time, so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
And to be fair, the last time we saw Night Ravens on the Gwen, he wasn't even fighting that much. He was a split push monster, primarily, and that's something that Night Ravens is really good at. That I think people in these kind of leagues, and specifically in Vanquisher, are often not very good at is split pushing as an alternative win condition, right? And Night Ravens is really great at it. So we'll have to see if what IDH has picked here is enough to combat that, right? As you said, I like the Xin Zhao. I like the Nami, can kind of be a go button. It's better to disengage, but I like the Xin Zhao. We'll have to see what they can do with it.
Yeah, kind of doing a little more front to backing, it looks like. Obviously, you have to see what these final picks come out to. A little bit of just, just waiting on production to kind of get back to some of that. But I still am very curious the thought process. I mean, we've already talked about it, but I mean, Night Ravens is, like I said, arguably the best player on TMGD. I mean, it's a huge thing. As we are going to see things pick back around. Darius and Orianna going to be the picks for TMGD. Hui to lock in for Philly B. I do like that a lot. You are going to have some good lane priority as the levels go on in mid. Both mid laners really kind of wanting to fight in those corridors, fight in those tight spaces. Although I do say Darius still in a great position. TMGD has some great skirmishing power, so I think maybe if the game goes longer and you get into those team fights, obviously Shockwave going to be a huge thing to watch out for, but I think maybe favor IDH a little more. But as skirmish heavy as a lot of these playoff games and this league as a whole has been, I mean, TMGD's got a lot of great tools to follow that around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we find ourselves in a similar situation as last game, as we're going to hop onto the Rift for game 2 here, where TMGD has the pressure on them to execute to get a lead early on. IDH is comfortable to scale up and take those more front-to-back team fights, but as we saw last game, that just didn't really work. So I want to see some action from IDH. I want to see a game plan that allows them to be proactive. As we'll see, we're hopping onto the Rift here. Standard starts for both teams. Can TMG Death Knights take this series up to 2-0 and put IDH really on the back foot? Or can IDH come back in game 2 and even us up here, send us to a series?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for more League of Legends, so let's go for it. But as a current Darius abuser, I've definitely seen firsthand the power of that pick, and I do like Ninja going with Ghost. I think there are still too many people that take Flash. I think Zhao actually taking Ghost here is a pretty good mental check. Recognizing that Darius is just going to run at you in situations, and having the ability to match that and escape is actually going to be very, very good. So I do like that from Zhao. Obviously, you can use it offensively, but I got to imagine his initial thought is recognizing that Darius potentially going to be looking to invade and kind of put some pressure on him. So we will have to see as junglers start on the opposite sides of the map, just exactly where the junglers want to go.
Yeah, totally. As you said, the Darius jungle is kind of your special sauce right now, and I've been away from the game for a couple of weeks. So walk me through this pick. What's the power of Darius jungle?
Well, big thing number one, and obviously what the nerf was, is the hemorrhage stacks, right? So hemorrhage is that passive bleed stack that his auto attacks and abilities apply, and it was 3x damage to jungle monsters. And now it's only 2x, which the thing to tell you is, as you can already see, I mean, still a huge clear here on the side of Darius. 2x is still a great number. Nothing too to worry about. It does slow his clear down a little bit, but one of the big things that makes it so strong is that Darius just has so much skirmishing potential. And in the early game, especially with because you go Ghost Blade, right? You don't want to be kited out. That's what that extra move speed does for you. Is you have so much skirmishing power in the early games. You are stronger than just about every other champion. It gives you a lot of power in those early skirmishes, which, let's be honest, when you look at solo queue and flex queue and even in comp, sometimes it's like getting out to a lead is huge. And then obviously just using that to transition. Obviously, Darius is going to get outscaled and then things like that. But, basically he just goes super heavy damage in the early, trying to help and give you an advantage of these early skirmishes, and then transitions into more of a tank role with Dead Man's Plate and items like that to kind of transition into the mid and late game. But he just has so much skirmishing power, and that's really where we see the value.
Sure. So we're going to want to see him skirmish around these early objectives, right? We're going to want to see TMGD push out these lanes and try to get prio on the objective of Ninja's choice there, right? And see if they can push through their strong side lane, which, look into that trade. I'm going to imagine is going to be the top lane. Night Ravens getting some snips onto Fozzie there. Mundo taking some serious beating in this matchup so far. Down 3 CS with the wave pushing away. Tanks another full Q to the face, and there it is. Gwen is immune as always.
Yeah, and I think with these Darius, I mean, obviously the other cool thing about Darius and the nerf has, subdued this a little bit, but you also just like, as much as you want to invade, your clear is also just very fast. So if you're ever stuck in a situation where you have to, you can just kind of power farm your jungle to get those advantages and kind of push on from there. So we'll have to see, of course, how the game breaks out. But you got to imagine, like you said, that Ninja's gonna be looking to invade as he is invading on those chickens, checking that bush, maybe trying to catch Zhao up as he goes in here.
Yeah, gonna get a little bit of damage. Does steal away the big raptor, I believe, but not gonna get anything else. And the rest of the gold goes over to Zhao. They're actually almost completely even in that jungle CS there, 30 to 29. So functionally exactly the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I think the biggest thing is the power of Darius really is those skirmishes going on, and ultimately it's going to be how they transition it, right? I think, the hook on Kawhi, Mura in trouble.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage while flash in from Jett on the Corki. Tries to get some more damage down, but not going to find quite enough flash for flash. I don't love that trade, but I like the aggressive look for the Corki. As we see, Darius is now here on the bot side. Provides some assistance. Sinjao's heading up to the top side, but no more skirmishing for the moment.
Yeah, the silver lining is Corki without flash. The Valkyrie option still gives him a little bit of mobility. It is not flash, but I would be less worried about it versus like the Sivir, right? I mean, you do have the spell shield, but ultimately, especially pre-6, like you're not getting away, right?
Yeah,
so I like you said, I do like the look. I think there's nothing wrong with Zed recognizing they have to try to put some pressure on this bot lane. Crushing Rock and Hamura, arguably the best bot lane in the league. So I definitely like him trying to find that opening.
Yeah, totally. As you see, this is something that happens with Sivir a lot, running out of mana pretty quickly down here in the bot lane. Pushes in really well, but runs out of mana real quick. So they're going to look for their first reset down here in the bot side. Same on the top lane. Fozzie Bear looking for his first reset, forced to TP back as the wave was pushing into Night Ravens. This Gwen has just had so much control over this lane, up almost 10 CS. Wave pushing into him is going to get to TP back, catch his whole wave under the tower. Maybe not even under the tower. This is a strong start to the lane for Night Ravens, as we're used to seeing from him.
Yeah, just a comfort pick. And like I said, I would be curious, and maybe what they're going to do is just really try to force these team fights with Night Raven split pushing and just say, hey, we recognize you're going to take T2s and you might break an inhib open. We're going to win the team fights and win the objectives. And maybe that's their thought, but we'll have to see how it breaks down. I would hope that IDH has a plan here with kind of counterpicking themselves, as we see, of course, TMGD taking away this first set of grubs with the Gwen. Not too surprising that that's where they want to prioritize. Hamura rotating himself up as we see a trade of the first set of neutral objectives as normal.
Yeah, that's a good call. The priorities shift a little bit this game. Side-wise, they actually don't shift. Blue side taking the grubs, red side taking the Drake, which, again, makes sense. That's sort of how the map is aligned, right? But, yeah, the priorities for the teams make a lot of sense. Gwen wants grubs, right? Gwen wants to be able to push in the side lane. Crushing Rock, nice spell shield onto the Q there. Is able to hold this 1v2 for now, but Jaop is here, maybe looking for a dive. There's no wave stacked up, but Thresh is still in the topside jungle. Now, Jaop decides not to go for it. Says Sivir's wave clear is too big. She's not really diveable at this point. Just gonna look to get some more vision, maybe steal away this red buff. As we see, Darius is taking away a lot of the topside jungle there too, so become a bit of a split map jungle situation here.
Yeah, and I think that dive is just another great indicator of what we were talking about. It's just like that go button or that reliable CC that IDH just doesn't have. I mean,
Yeah,
the
sure.
bubble's great when you land it, and tidal wave, like you said, it can be some engage. It's better at disengage, but especially with spell shield, like I think that was a great call, and I think teams don't get enough praise when they call off potential bad plays, right? Like it's super easy
Sure.
to praise teams for like, hey, that play was awesome, great job. But I don't think teams get enough praise when they approach a situation and are able to go, nope, you know what? This is actually bad, and we're just going to walk away and go do something else. And real credit to IDH for calling that play off.
Equivalent would be, hey, that play would have sucked. Good job.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely some split map here. Zhao maybe looking mid.
Yeah, we'll see. That's a lot of players mid for IDH, but it just misses with Wind Become Lightning. They're not quite able to tag Fizz as he walks out of the lane. CS differential's getting a little bad looking, though, for the side of IDH. The Darius is up about 15 or so, 14, 15 CS. The Gwen up as well, about 12, 13 on the top side there. Job not able to steal away the Raptors here after the failed mid gank. Amora is up here. Floops is here. Ninja on that Darius pick. See, they're going to defend their bot side jungles. Night Ravens, wow, going in with the needlework. Pops the ignite, but takes up one too many tower shots. And Fozzie Bear gets the solo kill in the top lane matchup. 2 games in a row. First blood to the Dr. Mundo.
Well, it turns out if you do that, then Dr. Mundo can get an advantage. So
we just didn't see the vision, Leslie.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Fozzie Bear for not making a mistake, right? You know what? Shout out. Yeah. He's going to kind of even up that CS advantage. Night Ravens doesn't have TP. So that's crazy. Ooh. The Darius.
Yeah.
Goes him in.
He may not have died the first time, but he will die the second time. He is hemorrhaging out, doesn't even need the guillotine. Ninja gonna pick up a kill with the ghost there. 1 for 1 in terms of the kills. Night Ravens does make it back in time to snip this whole wave up. So not too much loss on the side of TMGD. It was limit testing from Night Ravens. It was limit testing. They're up 1 game. It's, we can afford some mistakes. Philly be getting a little aggressive in the mid lane. Misses the spiraling despair there, but we're set back a little bit towards even. Good death sentence onto Jed now, but Jed is actually going to go in on a crushing rock saying, you've got no mana, I win this fight. And a phenomenal bubble from Xanthera is going to grab a kill for Jed. The tidal wave going a little bit wide, but a great aggressive look from the bot lane of IDH.
Yeah, great look. I mean, great recognition of the position and great capitalization by Jed. I mean, I'd love to see that, right? That's exactly what we're looking for is some fight back on the side of IDH in his bot lane. So very excited to see that as they have basically even gold here. But, something I want to point out is this Darius, obviously finishing up some camps, is going to be, it looks like 4 camps ahead. Obviously, that just goes to kind of push the power that this Darius has in their clear. We'll see where it lines up as Jaup does have a couple of camps to clear up. But that tempo as these grubs are going to come up, I mean, that leaves Ninja ready to fight over this without camps left to clear. So we'll have to see as IDH does arrive at these grubs first.
Yeah, and everyone is allocating all of their resources up here to see both bot lanes have roamed up. The mid laners have swapped down to the bot lane. I like this from both teams. We see an aggressive teleport from Fizz. He's TPing right into the enemy tribush as an Orianna, but it doesn't matter. Jaup is in the middle with the Crescent Guard, but he is stunned up. He is going to fall immediately. Death sentence from Hamora finds Xanthera, flashes over the wall, but he's on the wrong side of the map now. Going to take the blast going over. Night Raven's up in a 1v2 on the top side. Will fall, but so will Xanthera. IDH losing out on the skirmish overall. Crushing with the Gray Spell Shield. It is not over yet. Fozzie walking in. Philly B and Jed still a lot of HP, a lot of damage they can pump out. Death Sentence misses from Hamora. These missiles are just chunking from the Corki. Philly B hits a great Q as well. A lot of poke, and now TMGD is forced to run. Gonna get tagged by another Q from Philly B, putting down a lot of damage. With Fozzie Bear taking a little bit low. Looks like TMGD is gonna escape with all 6 of the Grugs. Oh, never mind. Might not fully escape as Hamora will fall. Jed flashes away from the tower shot at the last second. Almost picks up another one in the mid lane there. Hamora falls as well. A good fight back from IDH, but the grubs go to TMG.
Yeah, I mean, great objective pickup. But like you said, I mean, IDH is not willing to let it go. And they are going to go ahead and try to get the second dragon. Still just trading objectives. Coming out, that Jed kicking up that other kill, just going to put that out on top. Man, I mean, this is a great fight back from IDH. The one thing to point out, you look at the gold lead, TMGD still slightly up, and that is really coming from these CS leads in jungle and top. I mean, just huge players there as Night Ravens. not able to do too much, but he's going to go ahead and collect that plate as Floops. Like we said, just a little bit of a split map. As he is just going to go ahead and farm the red side jungle there.
Yeah, and we have to take a look at the fact that that play came off of actually, like, that was a recovery attempt at a fight from TMGD because Fist just TP'd in too far, right? Like, the Orianna was TPing straight into the entire enemy team, so TMGD was actually fighting to save their mid laner there, and the fact that they came out kind of on top in terms of kills in the fight, although at the end of the day, I think it did even out with Hamora's death in the mid lane, but, like, the fact that it went that well is actually kind of good for TMGD because it was looking kind of grim. But IDH capitalized really well, fought really well, and we're starting to see some of the poke come through from this mid laner and bot laner, right? As you see maybe a dive at the bot side here, but the tidal wave goes a little wide. Homura, good play with the lantern, hits a death sentence, and the Nami too is going to block out the dive completely. IDH did take that dragon, or up 2 dragons to the 6 grubs of TMGD, but Jed is feeling nice on the Corki in the bot lane here. This is what we want to see. We want to see him really have an impact on this game. He was down for pretty much all of last game on the Jinx, just not able to really pump out the damage in the way he wanted. So this is his time to shine.
Yeah, and I think as we start to see how these team fights play out, I mean, one of the big upsides to IDH's comp is they do have a range advantage, right? I mean, this Corki rockets, the plethora of spells that Hui has access to. I think all of that really just gives them an option to kind of play the fights out a little slower, get some damage down. But we will see. It does look like Crushing Rock go ahead and did burn that ultimate on the hunt. Potentially looking,
yeah, it may not have led to this play directly, but somehow they found it. Hamura hits the death sentence onto Zinthera, who immediately, now Hamura and Floop's trying to get out there. They're in the middle of enemy lines. Fist is coming up, and the Orianna has the ultimate available. Gonna see if he can get them out. Wind becomes lightning, dodged out by the Darius Ninja, acting like a ninja in this bot side jungle. They get the kill, they get out, and Night Ravens takes the top tier 1 all by himself. Popping the needlework going in on Fozzie Bear. He should have a little too much health to fall here, but the tower, not quite so lucky. A kill and a tower to TMGD. That's a good find.
Yeah, that was a heist. I mean, they should not have been able to get out of that, and definitely were able to. Of course, the death sentence connecting there on Nami being huge, and then a great lantern as well. I mean, got to give credit.
Yeah.
Thresh Lantern being one of the biggest things. That dark path is just a great thing to watch. But like I said, that was a heist. TMG got away with a little bit much there.
Look, support gets a lot of flack as being potentially the easiest role to play in League, right? But we have seen Hamura play other roles. This guy's got hands, right? Like, he is really not missing us. So this is where the On the Hunt was popped, actually. They forced them back, forced the heal out of Zinthera, used that On the Hunt move speed and the prio they got from it to walk into the enemy jungle. Zinthera, I imagine, just walks up to try and clear out vision. Yeah, just walking up, trying to get some vision, feels safe because his jungler is in the area, but that's so much damage from Ninja on the Darius there. The Guillotine doesn't even need full stacks to deal that much damage. Great dodge there, and the wind becomes lightning as well. Yeah, you're right. There's no other way to say it. That was absolutely a heist.
Yeah. Something I do want to point out, just from both supports, the Deep Ward rune seeing a ton of pickup recently. I mean, we all thought clearing wards was annoying before, and now you have to do it 4 times instead of 3. I mean, it's just, I actually love that. I think I actually am a pretty big fan of some of the runes that came in. Deep Ward being another one. What is the other one? Axiom Arcanist, the ultimate one.
Sure, yeah, that one's cool.
I love seeing those too. But yeah, Deep Ward seeing a ton of extra play here. Of course, for those of you who don't know, these blue wards you see in the enemy side of the map, getting an additional health point. They have to be hit on 4 times now to be cleared. Just some great additional vision, as it were, as Ninja doing what Darius does.
Running straight at him. Yeah, the death sentence from Hamura comes in as well after Floops connects with the E. That's a great shockwaves. Xiaop caught a little out. But will fall the Jed, actually. Jed putting out a lot of damage with the Corki. He's untouched in this fight so far. Flashes in, tries to connect the missile on the Fist. Doesn't quite find it. 1 for 1 in terms of kills in this mid lane skirmish here. Ninja going in a little bit too far. Fist barely getting out. And now the Herald is popped down here by IDH, trying to even up this gold, trying to claim this mid-tier 1. It will fall. The gold will go back to almost completely even. A good find here for IDH.
Yeah, I mean, especially as this 3rd dragon comes up, got to give yourself priority. We get a replay here. I mean, A big thing I want to note as this fight goes on, right, is obviously we see Ninja get this initial pick on the Nami, right? But I think
Mhm.
he kind of tunnels on the Jinzhou, right, and allows
Sure.
Jed to kind of free fire and not realizing just quite how much damage Jed puts out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, look here, as obviously they're chasing, and Jed has to be very careful with spacing here. But
Yeah, but
as we are
back on
going to go
live,
back
we've
to
got a
live,
little bit of action. Hamura has hit yet another death sentence. Haven't seen him miss yet, but it may have been a little bit too far. As we see, Jaup actually going in is totally fine. Doesn't have the Crescent Guard yet, though. Jed taking a little damage, frontlining. Valk's out, though. That's a good play. Ninja walking in, seeing what he can do. Philly B forced to flash out. Hamura hits another one. This guy does not miss. This time, Jed will be the one falling. Darius gets the first kill in the fight, but the Crescent Guard is up, and Fozzie Bear is here to help clean up. IDH starting to pick up the kills on the backside. Fist and Floops running for their lives. Not a lot of help. Night Ravens TP's in, but the Needlework does so much damage. Oh my god, Night Ravens putting out so much work on the Gwen. He is snipping through IDH. Philly B, no TP left. He is fleeing. Oh, but Ninja's here on the backside. Not a lot of health, but he doesn't need it. Walks in and cuts him down with the guillotine. Fozzie Bear nowhere to go. No flash. Has the spell shield up, but that's a lot of kills for TMGD. As it looks like actually on live, Ninja did fall to the Mundo there, as this is still looking quite scrappy. Sorry to have to keep cutting back and forth from replays, but the fight just never ends.
yeah, huge catch from TMGD there. Obviously, credit to IDH to get a couple back, but you know, Hamura, like we talked about in draft, making plays, finding these death sentence catches out. And Jed, credit to Jed. Jed's playing kind of out of his mind. I mean, he is not going to go willingly. I mean, if TMG is going to take down this game, they are going to have to force Jed to give it to them. So credit as they start up this third Drake. Should be pretty uncontested, as Ninja is still returning from base.
Yeah, a really, really good look from IDH so far in this game, right? This is what we wanted to see. They're coming out of the gates swinging. They are willing to fight. They're willing to skirmish for these early objectives. They've picked up 3 of the first Drakes now, so the onus is on TMGD to contest that 4th Drake, that soul point. It is Infernal Soul that the IDH is working their way towards, but you're absolutely right to shout out. Jed is just doing so much work in these fights. He is frontlining, honestly, there when the Crescent Guard wasn't up for Zhao PP, right? So working really well, but Hamura is hitting just about every Q he has fired so far. Like, I straight up don't think that he's been on the screen and missed a Q yet. But in some of these fights, the death sentence is actually for him, right? Because it's a little bit committal. You're pulling them in, and they just don't always have the damage to back it up. So this next fight, or excuse me, the fight around the next dragon could be kind of make or break for this game.
Yeah, and I think obviously some positioning errors, you know, getting cut off by that blue buff terrain being a huge thing. Jed not really able to buy space for himself, right? As I'm gonna go in. The hook there, apprehend by Darius, is gonna go slightly wide, probably for the better. Ooh, Philly be in a little bit of trouble.
Wow, yeah, the shockwave coming out from Fist. That's a lot of damage on the Orianna. Oh my god, the movement is so clean on the Orianna. He sidesteps everything. Sidesteps the fear, sidesteps the ulti, and just puts Philly B in the dirt. That's a good, honest-to-God solo kill.
Yeah, that spiraling despair going wide, and just Fist reminding him, says, you may be playing well, but I'm touted as the best mid laner in the league for a reason, and he's going to go ahead and take down that bot T1 in the process.
Yeah, one of the first picks we really saw him start to shine on was this Orianna hitting some really, really clutch ultimates in one of their first, I think it might have been week 2, week 3 match, right, to really turn a game around towards the end and hit a clutch shockwave at an Elder Dragon fight to win the game for them. So we know this guy is clean on the Orianna, picking up the solo kill there just to prove it. As we'll see, allocating a lot of resources up towards the top side here for TMGD. We'll see if they are starting up this Otacon. It looks like they are, and IDH, as we can see with the vision toggle here, cannot see it. Just going to go down kind of uncontested. Looks like they don't really have the resources to get here in time. So Night Ravens and Ninja actually going to 2-man this Otacon. That's a good sneak.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge. And obviously the damage coming out from Night Ravens. But yeah, definitely catching IDH a little off guard. And if you're Fozzie Bear, I mean, what do you do there, right? You can't contest at that stage anyway. But yeah, it's going to be a huge pickup, and that gold lead just kind of ballooning a little bit, pushing about 3K on the side of TMGD.
that's the right Otacon for that kind of play too, right? It's an Otacon that you're just getting XP, you're getting the blood petals from it. You don't really care about timing it out with your objectives, right? It's not the false life buff. So they got those blood petals. They're going to go even further up in XP and gold. Adaptive Force Z 2 levels here as the lead in the mid lane, 1 level. Or sorry, 2 levels in the jungle, 1 level in the mid lane, 1 level in the bot lane. To see, Jap on a ward takes a death sentence to the face. Just gets chunked a little bit. Not enough team here for TMGD to really fight, as they are going to be forced to give away this bot tier 1, but they're in the area looking to maybe just push him out of the jungle. See Floops running at him, though. Pops the ghost. We'll see if he can catch Philly B. Dodges the fear, but the apprehend doesn't hit either. Philly B in a sticky situation here, though. Flashes out, hits the Spiraling Despair. That's a good disengage from Philly B. Jalop going in now. Floop's a little bit low. Everybody is here. It's a full 5v5. The bot side Crescent Guard is popped. The first one down is Darius on the side of IDH. But, ooh, Night Raven's putting out a lot of damage with the needlework. It's 1 for 1 so far. Crushing Rock wants to walk up. Popsy on the hunt. Bouncing those blades in between IDH members, but it's going to stay 1-1. They're going to walk out. Tails between their legs on both sides. Let's watch how this went down.
Yeah, Philly B, like you said, great opportunity, understanding, great flash, getting that Spiraling Despair, catching the move speed, Tidal Wave, great option to disengage. Homura trying to kind of create space there too. Night Raven's coming in on the flank, but like you said, that Darius going down very, very quickly. The signature of the Visionary passive doing a ton of damage. Yeah, I mean, that's Fozzie Bear bought some good space, even in the face of Night Raven. So we'll have to see how they decide to play this fight out with Infernal Soul coming up here in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, Crushing Rock almost put it together there at the end to make like kind of a montage Sivir play. He really had the damage starting to go out, but it was a little bit too little too late. They couldn't really engage on any further. As we see, just like you said, they're setting up for this dragon down here. Infernal Soul for IDH will spawn in about 15 seconds. But Prio over the river so far is still a little contested. Looks like it's going to TMGD with that mid push. They're going to push in onto the mid tier 1, see if they can claim it with their 6 grubs. They can. As we see, Philly B's on the top side, but another death sentence from Homura, but he may have gone a little bit too far this time, gets caught with the bubble there. Great shockwave from Fist, but not quite gonna kill Jed with the flash out. Burns down to the Leandry's proc there, though. He will get it. Fist with another strong kill there in the mid lane. Homura hits those death sentences. He may have fallen for it, but we are so willing to trade our support for their AD. TMG Death Knights have moved on to the dragon. They say no soul for you, but IDH wants to fight it. They're not ready to let it go, but Night Raven puts up so much damage. The needlework, the snip, all coming through. It's all coming together for TMGD, and it's falling apart for IDH. Darius running in. Oh! At the last second, falls to the Hui damage there, but they will secure the dragon. TMGD will get out with their lives, I hope, but maybe I spoke too soon. We'll see. Fist taking a bit of a greedy recall there. Philly B does do some damage. Fist, not enough footwork. No, he does have it. Walks out. I eat my words a little bit there. A scrappy fight. TMGD walks out with the dragon.
Yeah, that's crazy. The IDH Fozzie Bear looking for a little something.
It looks like Night Ravens may have overstayed here. Does so much damage, though. Oh my god, if he kills this Mundo, that's disgusting. Doesn't quite get it. Fozzie Bear lives just barely through the ignite, but IDH says we don't know where they are. We can't keep pushing into this fight. Night Ravens gets out through the sheer damage he had there. Fozzie went down to double-digit HP there. It's getting real scrappy. This game is on a knife's edge.
Yeah, and I think IDH's choice to fight that, obviously lacking a ton of damage with Jed being a huge part of their damage right now. It was definitely crazy. I mean, we'll have to see Philly B looking really close to this death cap. I think that's going to be a huge thing to pay attention to, as he is kind of starting to pump. But what's going on here?
Another death sentence for Homura. I'm just keeping at this point. I can't keep track of the ones he hits.
Yeah,
I just need. Yeah, I need a counter for ones he misses. Right, like there's two. He's hit too many for me to even keep track of them. Even if they don't matter like that one. Just pop of the spell shield. He hits them.
Yeah, doing a great job of just looking for those plays. And like I said, buying space. I mean, we don't talk about that enough, I think, for Homura. He does a great job of doing that in this game. And we'll have to see. I mean, I think this Night Ravens, this Gwen is pumping a ton of damage. It really is. He hits another death sentence. But as we all know, Mundo goes where he pleases. So doesn't really care. But Night Raven's probably going to take down this tier 2, and nothing anybody can do to stop him.
Yeah, what do you do if you're IDH here, right? You look at this Gwen and you say we can't contest her in the side lane. We sent 3 members at her and that wasn't enough. We tried to fight for this last dragon and the fights are starting to not go our way. What's the game plan from here on out? How do they sort of turn the momentum around?
I mean, step one is vision control, right? And whether you have to pair up the Xin Zhao and Jed or Xin Zhao and Philly B, you've got to be able to move in, or just Xin Zhao and Xanthera even. You've got to be able to get yourself a little bit of vision so that you can try to make plays or look at a catch. The issue that we run into here is that they don't have that go button, right? So if you're IDH, your best option to get to these objectives first is all going to be through lane priority, right? So you're going to have to try to push out one of these lanes. If we look at this dragon coming up in 2 minutes, they're going to have to force through this bot lane or force through this mid lane so that they can walk into river and get vision set up. Once they can get vision set up, they can set up these traps and these corridors for Philly B and Jed to get damage down. But unfortunately, it does look like TMGD got to go ahead and get a start on this Baron, as we are going to get a TP from Night Ravens too, as they're going to try to burn it quickly.
Yeah, we'll see. This Baron should fall very quickly. Gwen and Saber pumping out the DPS onto the Baron, and that thing is gone already. Homura hits another death sentence on the backside. Flays IDH out. TMGD now trying to escape with their lives after taking the Baron already. Jappy P is in there, though, with the Crescent Guard, making a lot of space, but finds him crushing rock, putting out the damage. Just saying maybe we can fight this, but no. Happy to take the 1 kill, happy to take the Baron and walk out of there. TMGD with another heist in this game. They melted that Baron.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think great job, again, being decisive, realizing that IDH may be a little bit caught unawares, as Jed needs to be careful, not tracking where Ninja's at currently. And Fozzie's there going to...
Fozzie goes where he pleases, but TMGD might have something to say about it, as he is caught. He is down 49 seconds on that death timer with a minute until the dragon will make it a little bit hard for IDH to get prio over their soul.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think if you're IDH, I mean, you're down about 5K now. You have no priority anywhere. So the best thing you could probably do is to try to get mid and top pushed out as far as you can so that you can defend this Baron push, right? You're not going to be able to get priority for this dragon unless, TMGD just makes a really big misstep. And they have 2 minutes on Baron. I mean, the last thing you want is... So why they try to go for that dragon is the best thing to do is try to get waves as far out as you can and try to wait this Baron out. And I think that's what they got to do, as we do see Philly B and the jungler. We see Zhao up on that top side as well right now. But yeah, we'll have to see. But this is definitely TMGD's dragon.
Yeah, that's a good call out. When you have 3 early dragons like IDH does, you don't actually need to even contest these next ones. This is still only TMGD's 2nd dragon, so it really doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. Just puts a bit of a longer clock on IDH's potential soul. Infernal Soul would be huge for them if they could get it at some point, and that could be an angle back into the game. Infernal Soul really great on Corki, really great on Hui. Sort of enable those poke champs even more. But you're right, and IDH agrees with you. Just going to give this dragon. I agree as well. Seems like the best thing to do, and try to turtle up and defend against the Baron. TMGD is overloading this bot side here, putting 4 members in the mid lane, 1 in the bot lane, trying to push down this last tier, or these last tier 2s here, excuse me. Night Raven's just going to push up to the tier 3, but not able to get the wave all the way in the mid lane, so we'll see if they can get another tower before this Baron expires in 30 seconds.
Yeah, is the Jed missiles and Philly B, the decent wave clear. It's not the easiest time sieging. Of course, Baron minions very resilient, so we are going to see that tier 2 in the mid lane taken down. But with only about 25 seconds left on Baron, you got to imagine that'll be the end of that push.
Yeah, and this is a huge swing in gold. It felt like not that long ago that the gold was totally even between these teams, but as we look now, that's like a 6K gold lead for TMG Death Knights heading into minute 31. This game gone a bit longer than that first one before being decided. IDH has kept themselves in it for a little longer, but just like last game, things are starting to slant towards TMGD as the Ninja gets out by the skin of his teeth there.
Yeah, absolutely. Very lucky. And I think the key to these games going on is obviously you've got to buy space for Jed and do everything you can to keep him and Philly as much as possible. But Jed on 3 items, we do see Philly V also finishing that death cap. They do have the upgraded boots, those feats of war care, being captured by IDH. So I think that is something to point out as we start to see those upgraded boots come online from certain members. So yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, what did they say? Fozzie Bear level 16, right? That was the difference maker. And Fozzie Bear's there. He's level
Sure.
16. He's 3.5 items. He's got both summoners up here in about a few seconds. I mean, this is where we'll call out our spectator. This is, hey, let's see what Mundo has, right? This was the pick by IDH, right? IDH said, we want this matchup. We want this pick. So this is where I need to see just really what can this Mundo do to help his team out as the game comes to what will likely be the last fight in about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Sure, that's a really good point there, Leslie. Actually saying that, yeah, this Mundo was the counter pick, right? They saw Gwen and they picked Mundo into it. I think if you watch this game without watching the draft, right, if you tuned in a little ways in, you would go, oh, God, he got counter picked on this top lane. Sort of nothing you could do. No, this was a voluntary matchup for Fozzie Baron, and it really hasn't panned out, I think, the way IDH wanted it to. Is you're right. We are heading up towards what could end up being the final fight of this game. Baron spawning in about 1:15, Dragon up in 2. Both teams gonna look to contest these side lanes, this mid lane, try and get Prio walk to these objectives, but the wave clear should be in favor. Yeah, some of those gold differences is a little bit tough in the top lane there, especially Night Raven's up like, I think looked like 3K all on his own.
Yeah. Almost 4,000 gold lead for Ninja on the Darius. And just, I mean, look at the item discrepancy, right? I mean, yeah, right there, almost 4,000 gold. Darius having 4 full completed items. Zhao still struggling to get that third one done, 2 level difference. And this is all going to be very important to note as we get close to this dragon. I mean, this huge gold discrepancy. Even the mid lane, I mean, the bot lane, Crushing Rock kind of caught up. I mean, don't get me wrong, Zed's still a ton of damage. Going to be a huge part of his team if they can win team fights. But Crushing Rock's not behind. Crushing Rock's going to be completing the same number of items here, and I think that's going to be very important to note as Crushing Rock has 3 full items. Although I will say, Jed, 3 full items, does also have the Last Whisper. I think that's going to be important to note as we're looking at this Darius.
Oh my God!
Oh, what did we?
Ninja just died in the topside jungle somehow. Jungle solo kill. I mean, that's what Darius does, right? He's a solo kill monster. Night Ravens, though, maybe a little overextended in the bot side here. Tried to push up on his own. Gonna find 4 members of IDH fighting him. Now only 3, but he will get shut down. The gold goes over to Philly B, but on the other side of the map, TMG Death Knights is gonna take another quick Baron for it. Sivir clears these Barons so quickly along with the hemorrhage stacks from Darius. That's going to be a second Baron over to TMGD. IDH just picks up the 1 shutdown in return. When your jungler dies solo in the top side of the map, you lose Baron.
Well, and I think, though, IDH has a window to get soul here, right? I mean, Night Ravens does have TP up, but he's going to be down 15 seconds. So if they can get in and force a fight quickly as Zhao spawns here, I mean, you might have a window before Night Ravens can be up. However, we did see Xanthera just recall, so the window is fast closing where that's going to be relevant. So they may just be deciding to give as we do see Fozzie Bear walking to this top side, although TP is up.
Yeah, a bit undecided so far. So we saw Jed hanging out in that bush, but it looked like, you're right, those good calls. Xanthera recalled, as Fozzie Bear recalled as well with the TP, but started running immediately topside. Zhao PP didn't seem to want to commit straight to the dragon. They think, look, even if we get a 5v4 for a couple of seconds in this fight, it's not going to go our way. We're still not strong enough. We need more items to fight. They're going to give another dragon, and it's now soul point for both teams.
The downside here is how much more gold are you going to get? I mean, they're just going to be knocking on your base with this. They get the top wave pushed out, but I mean, Fozzie Bear, we see him recalling. He's going to have to. This tower is just going to go down. I mean, IDH, you can't really stop this push right now. I mean, if you're going to do anything, you've got to start a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Sivir so effective at these pushes, one of the best wave clearers in the game, and I think you're right. That dragon fight may have been IDH's last chance to get back into this game, and they missed out on it completely, sort of let it pass them by. As we'll see, TMGD does have to siege into the base now, right? Which is significantly harder than sieging on the tier 2s. Sieging the inhibs can be a bit more of a struggle as Crushing Rock pops the spell, she walks back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, IDH doing their best.
There. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, IDH doing their best to try to push them out. But again, I mean, what do you do? I mean, when they're just so far ahead, your jungler's got a 2-level or 3-level lead. Night Ravens finally dispel connecting. We're gonna see them get picked on here.
Yeah, this is what you try to do. You try to find a pick onto their strongest member, but it just doesn't work. The Gwen heals up too much. Gwen is immune as always, Night Raven comes out of that pick alive and well, still has the TP up, channeling that recall. He's probably going to TP back in. No, they're actually going to elect not to push to end the game. They're going to make the safe play. They're going to say, hey, we're up almost 10k. We're going to win this game either way. Let's not risk it. Let's all take a recall, reset, push these waves out, look for one more push.
Yeah, I mean, great call there. And again, this just goes to show the jungle difference here between Ninja and Zhao. I mean, Ninja having an absolute great game. He's pushing on 100 CS up over Zhao here. And that level lead also just going to show, I mean, Zhao just being behind an item is not able to stand up long enough to get anything done for his team.
Yeah, and this is something you and I have always said about TMGD, actually, is that they have the ability to carry through any of their players, right? We said this even before Ninja was playing on the roster, right? But they can carry through any role. It's easy to look at this team and say, oh, their top laner and their mid laner are their best players. They're always going to carry through those lanes. Can we try and shut them down? But it just doesn't work like that. Like, this is having a great game, don't get me wrong, but he's not the difference maker here. We're going to have to hold that thought for after the game. Zhao may be caught out. The Crescent Guard is up. He's not taking a lot of damage, but a great shockwave from Fizz pulls him back in. Hamura falls, but Ninja is in there. He is stacking it up. Night Ravens is on the backside, picking up a double kill. TMGD may have found the fight that ends the game.
Yeah, maximum dosage getting Fozzie Bear out of there, but that's, I mean, you're trading the support for 3 players, and I think you're super excited. He is going to look for a play here.
Trying to cut the wave, I think, maybe with the TP, but we'll see. Not even going to get to the wave. Not sure if this one panned out. Fozzie, waka waka, not quite the one laughing, unfortunately, as he's going to fall to the Darius there. Jed left to defend on his own. The Gatling gun, not enough to clear out these super minions. Night Raven's pushing in on the top side. The rest of TMGD pushing in straight through the mid lane. No Baron, no Soul, no problem for TMGD. They're going to go up 2-0 in this first series of our quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, this just goes to show you why TMG is such a favorite. And really, I mean, one of the favorites for the league. I mean, I think, like you said, being able to really play through any lane at any time. Like, we didn't talk about Crushing Rock that game, but Crushing Rock just I mean, look at that, 42,000 damage. He out-damaged the whole team. And when you look at the game, it doesn't look like he did anything crazy, but he kept up the farm. He was just kind of like the silent assassin there. He's just like, hey, by the way, I'm a hyper-scaling AD carry, and I also have free items. Like, I'm also going to exist here and do those things. And yeah, TMGD, just another really great performance. Credit to IDH. I mean, I think they put up a better fight this game.
Absolutely.
But what I said I wanted to see was this go button, and we still didn't have one. I think that's really what this team was lacking, right? I mean, at no point were they like, pull the trigger, we can do it. They didn't have that. So, I mean, I think if you're IDH, you've got to find yourself one of those go buttons.
And you saw the moments where it would have mattered, right? They had the potential bot dive early on in the game where you saw Zhao was behind them on the Xin Zhao, but like Xin Zhao and Nami are not the champs you want there. If we had a Leona, maybe. If we had a Skarner or something, maybe. I know Skarner's not quite as meta anymore, but like if we had these picks that really engage, and I don't know if it's a champ pool thing, I can't really speak to IDH's champ pools, but I completely agree. I think that like we saw the right signs this game. They were more coordinated as a team. They were at least fighting together. They were looking for plays together. They were cross-mapping well. They really fought back. This game was totally even until about 25 minutes. And if we had maybe seen them with a couple more engage options, I know it feels like we're hammering this point to death, but like it's what they need. They didn't have the options to really go in there. We saw Zhao falling so many times in those engages because like he goes in, he tries to make space with the Crescent Guard, but it's just not enough if you're not actually like CCing anyone for Jed and Philly to actually deal the damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too is one thing I do want to point out, Jed, great performance. I mean, Jed showed some signs of life there that says, hey, I'm gonna be a carry for my team. I'm gonna put these pants, I'm gonna do damage, I'm gonna try to get stuff done. And I think he did a great job. And there were definitely some moments where Jed kind of took over and really helped his team move forward. And I want to see that again, right? I want to see that same thing as we continue to go in. So, you know, the big two things in draft is let's get Jed on something comfortable that he can output damage on, and let's find ourselves a go button. I don't care if it's Nautilus, Leona, like Pantheon. I mean, I don't care, but we've got to find ourselves a way to dictate the terms of the fight. And I think that's what we've still been missing from game one. That's what we missed again in game two. And I think if IDH wants to see a different result as we go on in this series, that's the key to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Signs of life from IDH here in game two, but TMG Death Knights standing strong, up 2-0 in the series. Again, we're going to go to quick break. We'll be right back with game three. All right, welcome back to the Titan Esports Vanquisher League. TMG Death Knights up 2-0 in this quarterfinal best of 5 over ID Honeyfruit. IDH gonna have to pull some magic out of their sleeves, find something in the bag of tricks to come back in this one. It's looking a little bit over, but crazier things have happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously on the break, we looked up the number of engaged champions that are still available in the pool, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like philosophically for all of League of Legends, like you always have to have a go button, right? But I think we can all agree, like at this level where the execution is not always perfect, like having yourself those reliable go buttons and those engage options makes it easier to execute, which realistically gives you an easier chance to win. And there are so many options available in both support and jungle, and even top, some roles that we have some engage options on. And please, IDH, let's pick a couple of these. Let's give you guys a chance to control how the team fights go, control how the tempo goes. That's what I want to see. I want to see this in Game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you. I think we saw a lot of improvement from Game 1 to Game 2 from IDH, right? In Game 1, they were looking a little not quite coordinated, right? Not maybe quite communicating, not on the same page with their engages. In Game 2, they were at least fighting as a unit. They were making plays. They stayed in the game much longer, and that was great to see. Hopefully, we can see them improve again from Game 2 to Game 3 and find the takeaway of like, okay, look, we need to have some agency in this game, and that, at the end of the day, comes down to draft. Now, it is Fearless Draft. We're going into Game 3, which means no adjustment to the ban system yet until Game 4, if we get there. But there's a lot of champs out of the pool, but not a lot of engaged ones. There's still a lot in the support pool that can go in, a lot in the jungle pool, a lot in the top pool that can go in. I wouldn't mind the Ornn, these sort of things in the top lane, right? We've already seen that what Fozzy wants to do is neutralize in these matchups, right? He's not picking to win the 1v1. He's picking to scale, to go late, to hopefully not get solo killed. Right. Which, to be fair, he has gotten the solo kill both times. Now, this last one was maybe had less to do with Fozzy than it had to do with Night Ravens. Right. But, you know, there are, what I'm trying to say is there are glimmers of hope for IDH, and if they can lean into them in this Game 3, maybe we can have a series.
Yeah, and I think, again, you got to be honest with yourselves. Like, you're not, as IDH, you're not out executing TMGD. So make the execution easier on yourself, right? Like, don't draft this comp that requires you to play everything just so perfect to make it happen. Give yourself some easy options. But yeah, I am all for it. IDH, I would love to see you come back. The underdog reverse sweeps are always the best. And then, you know what? 5 games of Fearless sounds like fun to me. So let's see what we can get for this next draft in Game 3.
Yeah, it would be nice. We do a little bit of our own sort of style of draft here at Titan. This is our Kiss, Marry, Kill for the week. And for once, we are all aligned. Our visions are the same. We all agree that you kiss Vel'Koz, you marry Blitzcrank, and you kill Cho'Gath.
Yeah, I think it's very rare when we see the casting team and the production team just all on the same page. And this time, it wasn't even close. I mean, I think everybody's auto response was this. Like, there was no discussion. There was no, like, I don't know, guys, let's talk. Nope, we were all on the same page from the beginning. No issues. And we are going to go ahead and get into draft.
I considered a little Cho'Gath. I will say I considered a little Cho'Gath, but I thought about it and I was like, I don't know, Vel'Koz, I think would be fun once, and then Blitzcrank Blitzcrank seems stable. Seems like he's maybe the most normal option there. He's at least humanoid. But as we see, we're getting into draft for Game 3 here. The bans are remaining quite the same so far. TMGD is on the blue side again, same as Game 2. IDH on the red side, which means they have been picking red side for themselves. So did TMGD in the first game. I believe red side is the priority here. Bans exactly the same. Lulu Aurora out for IDH. Yone and Akshan out for TMGD. We'll have to see how this draft shapes up.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see the Maokai band, the Sylas band. They heard us talking about go buttons, and they said we might pick this away from you. You know, obviously Sylas Malphite be one of those traditional things. But we'll see. What is TMGD prio here? What's your prio pick with what's left? I mean, what do you like to see here?
with the Silas ban, I do think that implies a Maokai or something like that to me. Maokai's a flexible pick. It works well in these situations. But Jarvan can do a similar thing as
It's IDH. Slamming Maokai right now.
Please do it.
Please.
Not a bad matchup. Goes in with one button.
Oh, the Elise? Okay, you know what? He had a pop-off performance last week. I appreciate the thought of, okay, I need to put you guys on my back a little bit. I need to make something happen. Not where I would go. I'm a big Maokai enjoyer, but I like that. And then the Tristana going to be locked in. Of course, still seeing some play in the mid lane. The double 80 carry still something we could see. And Tristana is one of those champs that's picked up a lot of play in the solo queue routes. And then, of course, we do have the Cataclysm bullet time combo. Somewhat of a classic as Crushing Rock slops in that MF. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Still no go button from What?
Okay. Sure.
All right, I guess.
That's awesome.
TMGD locking in Shaco. A little bit interesting. Thank you. Let's go.
That's exactly the champ we were talking about.
Yes.
You guys didn't hear us when we were on a break, Leslie and I, and some of our production team, Anti-Air Observer. We're talking about how much we wanted IDH to just pick Leona. And Leona in conjunction with the Elise. Here we can make these dives a reality. We can make these early skirmishes a reality. Into the Shaco. A little interesting. I don't know where the Shaco is going. We also picked Jarvan, so I have to imagine it's support.
Yeah, I would too, and obviously we'll see how that lane goes. I am not a. I mean, you don't see Shaco that often nowadays. I mean, it's kind of reserved for one tricks, and it is one of the higher band champs. A lot of haters out there.
I'm a hater.
I'm a Katarina hater, so Shaco can get through all he wants. But hey, IDH, I'm liking your comp so far. Thank you. I appreciate it. The transference, the caster transference is existing.
Yes,
we do see Ziggs also, so this could lead me to believe there's some flexibility in the spot lane. I mean, you can see Ziggs Leona bot just as well as you can see Triss Leona bot. As we are going to see Night Ravens lock in this Fiora. Fiora recently getting a great buff to her Q, capping the mana cost at 20 at all levels. I don't want to say this makes her a manaless champ, but it's pretty good. And then, the TF by FYS. So a real kind of pick comp and able to rotate around the map, make plays with Jarvan and the TF. Really looking to kind of push these solo lanes. Ooh.
Jax.
Jax. This is it. This spotlight of Fozzie Bear versus Night Ravens. This is going to be a lane to watch, right? I mean, if you're Fozzie Bear, you're kind of throwing down the gauntlet and saying, all right, let's fight here. I mean, let's throw down these two duelist and fighter top laners. Definitely going down here. But what do you like? I mean, which comp are you leaning towards as you see it kind of unfold here?
Okay, this is not my game prediction, but I'm leaning towards IDH's comp stylistically. I really like what they've done here. They have more consistent engage with the Leona, with the Elise, right? Those two combine really well for easy tower dives, so we can get some roams up to the top lane maybe, right? Xanthera and JPP should be able to make life easy for their team in terms of these dives, in terms of the early plays. I like the way they assign the lanes. I wanted the Tristana mid. I think having an AD and AP mid jungle is much better than an AP and AP mid jungle. Just in terms of resistances and things like that. And I think that if Philly B can play it, Tristana mid is great. TMGD, I don't know how to evaluate it. I don't know what Shaco does in this context. Like, I mean, I know what he does as a champion, but I don't know what he does in like a competitive game. And I think
agreed.
I'm sure that they will prove it. Yeah, sure.
I mean, the boxes, I mean, maybe that's something we can do here. You assume he's going to go AP. I can't imagine support AD Shaco is good. But I'm going to say it right now. This is the game IDH brings it back. You drafted Leona. You heard us. You gave me what I asked for. The other thing we asked for was what? Pushing lanes, right? Priority in lanes. You've got priority in the bot lane with this Ziggs. You have priority in the mid lane with Tristana. All right. Let's go to IDH. I'm ready to go to 5 games. Let's go.
You heard it here first. Trying to go all the way to 5 games. We will see if ID Honeyfruit can do it. As here we go, we are getting into game 3 of our quarterfinal match between TMG Death Knights and IDH. TMGD leads the series 2-0.
Spectators giving us a little Shaco show here as the game gets started. But I mean, Shaco, obviously Zane control, use him to get
Yeah,
vision. I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
just don't know.
if there's a time to pull out the Shaco, if there's a time to test a pick, I guess it's now when we're up 2-0, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, you can't really.
Is that maybe the thought? Here we go. Okay, like,
Maybe.
I want to play Shaco. I think playing Shaco would be fun. Let's try it. We're up 2-0. Like, nothing to lose here. We think we're going to win anyway. Lock in Shaco.
This just makes me think of like teams at Worlds when they know they're going to win a series.
Again, a standard start here. Lane swaps are all but dead in today's meta thanks to all of the changes. I believe they're also against the rules in the Vanquisher League, but dead due to league changes themselves as well. A little box here from the Shaco on the red buff. Nice little tech from a good Shaco support player. Understands that Shaco jungle has it right. You can get those leashes real nice with the boxes. That's actually 2 boxes there. Ninja gonna have a great time clearing on the Jarvan. Gonna give him a little extra speed.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do. You're not gonna have the push in this bot lane anyway. So I mean, I don't disagree with if you're not gonna have the push, you might as well. I mean, leashing really is kind of dead in the current meta with the jungle items the way they are. But also, if you're not gonna do anything anyway, if you're just gonna stand and stare at the support, then hey, I appreciate you using your time for something more valuable. As we see Jed already a little bit of poke coming out onto Crushing Rock as the Zed will look to do here. Ooh, early engage, not really going the way of IDH as maybe they wanted, but I appreciate the look. I do. I really do.
Yeah, kind of interesting. The Jack in the Box there actually like kind of acts as disengage when he puts it in the bush there. Yeah, and he keeps the Jack in the Box in the bush so that when Xanthera goes in, he takes a lot of damage, but Hamura may have overestimated what he can do as he gets hooked. He uses the flash out, but burns down to the ignite. That is another first blood for IDH.
And I love it, right? I mean, Shaco level 1, what does he do? He puts a box down, that's it. He doesn't do anything else. Like, I really like to see this is the jungles. What are we doing here?
Oh, yeah, Ninja didn't spot the Elise on the invade. There is going to get out with the flag and drag, but Zhappy may have actually gone a little bit too far. Fist flashes in for the gold card there, forces the flash out from Zhappy. Probably not worth to trade your flash as the mid laner for the jungler, but thinks he's saving the homie there, so may consider it worth the flash in there. A little bit of action, no kills so far in this mid 2v2 is wow, Philly B jumping in, popping up the explosive charge, but is stunned under the tower for a second. These trades are even. Both these teams want to make some early action happen. I like it.
Yeah, and shout out to Xiaop. I mean, invading that blue side jungle, and now you have both sets of your jungles to clear here, but we got to be careful. The wraparound by Ninja. Oh, the dive by Xanthera.
Kill.
Absolutely huge dive. You also avoid the gank in the process. Floop's kind of looking around for this gank, not realizing the Xanthera had rotated up, and you know what? I love it. IDH is giving us everything that we've asked for so far.
And it's all off the back of a Leona pick. That's what we wanted. It was just...
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think this is great. We see the priority, and obviously, you know, Xiaop still has plenty of camps to go farm, can build a little bit of a CS lead here, and Jed just kind of able to neutralize if he has to be by himself on this Ziggs. I mean, again, no engage from the side of TMGD, so unless you kind of face check a box, you're pretty safe without help.
Yeah, absolutely. As we saw, even when you face check a box, sometimes in the bot lane, it just doesn't matter. As the Leona was able to tank it up in that level 2 to level 1 skirmish. We'll see Night Ravens putting a little bit of pain down on the Fozzie Bear here. The mana costs on the Jacks are a little bit higher, a little bit more intensive, so he is going to have to recall. Actually, both teams going to recall. So we got another 3v3 down here on the bot side. The Cocoon hits, but the flag and drag gets Ninja out of there. 2 early kills to IDH, though. This is what we like to see. They've picked a couple of go buttons, and they are using them. TP's out back for both top laners as we're going to reset looking towards these first objectives, right? The dragon up in about 1 second. There it is, as the grubs spawning soon as well. We'll have to see which team pryos what. As Fozzie Bear wave pushing away from him, not quite where you want to be on the Jacks, but not too bad.
Yeah, we are going to see a big CS dip here, though, as Night Raven's able to collect this wave. You know, a big thing to note, the mana cost, right? We just talked about this buff that Fiora got, reducing the mana cost on that Q, being a huge help And it shows already. I mean, Fozzie Bear having to TP to get that wave crash just to reset, but unable to stay when his wave was pushing originally just because of the mana cost. So a huge pickup from Night Ravens as he builds a small CS lead.
Yeah, as we see, the bot lane here has evened out considerably after that first kill. CS completely even among the bot laners themselves, but it's support impact on the map that so far has gotten the lead for IDH. Xanthera just putting in a lot of work in the mid lane and in the bot lane. We'll have to see what Homura can do on the Shaco. I think that Shaco's roam potential is probably strong, and his ganks are okay, but we'll just have to see if it can stand up to the Leona and the Elise.
Yeah, and we'll see. Obviously, we see some supports rotating as we might get a little bit of action here in the mid lane.
Yeah, a bit of a fight here. This tanks up an explosive charge from the Tristana, but the box actually sort of pushes him back out, so good disengage from Homura on the Shaco there. So we'll see. Again, here, the objectives will be traded. Early grubs appear to be going towards IDH, while the Dragon will go to TMG DK. Flip from the sides we saw last game, but all standard here.
Yeah, and again, I really like this Ziggs pick, giving him a lot of safety, ability to continue to clear waves. You know, like you said, rotating Xanthera around the map, making an impact on this Leona, while not hurting and punishing your AD carry in the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. How do we feel about this Grubs for Dragon trade, right? How do we feel about Grubs if we're IDH?
I think, honestly, if you're IDH, Jax loves Grubs, so does Fiora, so taking them away from Fiora, I don't think it's ever going to hurt you. TF also loves, I mean, the ironic part is both teams want Grubs, right?
Sure.
So I think, that being the case, as IDH, I have no issues trading Grubs for Dragon this first time around, at all.
Yeah, I think we're pretty happy with that. Ziggs and Tristana, too, it should be said, those are, like, the two strongest mid and bot laners at killing towers, specifically. Right, with Grubs, that gets even better, especially for Tristana. It's strong on Ziggs too, don't get me wrong, but on Tristana, it's great. So this early Grubs going to IDH could end up being huge if they look to play through a sort of split push win condition. As we've seen TMGD do time and time again through Night Ravens. We'll see, ooh, Fizz has to walk down towards the bot side of the mid lane here as wow, JPP flash cocoon in, knows that Fizz actually does have the flash back up, and Xanthera flashing in as well. He is just down. Homura over the wall, but Philly B finding the reset as well. Homura still has the flash. Probably going to get out okay here, but a great collapse from JPP and Xanthera, just making it happen all across the map. As, whoa, the bullet time's out here in the mid lane. Xanthera is going to walk into a Jack in the Box, probably going to take just a little too much damage to survive there. Can't get out after making the play, but still 3 kills to 1 at 8 minutes for IDH.
Yeah, that feat of warfare, first one, going to be locked in. And hey, the rotation up, the bullet time, I mean, it's great, but you still got to be happy if you're IDH. It's Tristana off to a good lead, putting Fizz on the back foot. Jed, slight CS lead, has a little bit more damage on the tower. And again, if you're Ziggs, you just kind of want to exist, scale up, get to a couple of items. But Homura trying to see what he can get done, but we'll see. If you could dodge these boxes, it gets a little crazy, but Homura going to dodge this vision as Zhao might be in trouble.
So this is what it does, right? This is what the support Shaco does. Is there's the Cataclysm, the flash in from Fizz as well. JPP's gonna walk right into a box if he even tries to walk into the bush. Philly B flashing over the wall though, trying to find the reset onto Ninja. Oh, but Ninja flashes over the wall as well, but gets the auto off at the last second of the Tristana. Ignite is down onto him, but Homura and Fizz maybe a little in too far back here. Not going to pick up the kills they wanted to. Homura now flashing the wall. Everybody flashing out in this trade, but it's not going to be enough. Philly B on a rampage. 4-0-1 on the Tristana. IDH is fighting back.
Yeah, big thing to look out there is this Night Ravens able to get a huge pickup here on this top side, almost completing 3 plates. As the tower shot. Night Ravens got to be very careful. Again, mana is a resource kind of coming back to fight, but that we're gonna see these Ziggs Mega Inferno Bomb kind of canceling and maybe looking for a dive on Crushing Rock as we
looking for the dive they couldn't get in game 1. Crushing Rock forced to build a flash and the cleanse, but they're in a little too far, but Jed picks up the kill there with the bombs. Now gonna try to TP out, get away from FIS, not quite gonna get it. He gets the vision, gets the gold card down. Homura takes down Xanthera. Jed flashes away into the bush. Gets the satchel charge off. Will he fall if he walks in between the turret there? Yeah, he would have died to the card, so well played. Homura over the wall with the deceive, though. Gonna catch him with the knife to the back. It's a bloody game. Advantage is still to IDH, but TMGD picking up a kill or two.
Yeah, the big thing to note is Philly B is huge. I mean, Philly B is also looking to knock on this tower, and I like the look here. I mean, I think you're using the Shaco to your advantage. You're trying to make things happen, and unfortunately, just good rotation from IDH really made it. Yeah, you give up some plates, but you really pushed Philly B in the mid lane, and Philly B still has a great opportunity to take this first tower. Just great performance by him so far.
Yeah, totally. I also like this look. I get what they were going for, but Homura just didn't actually get anything done here on the Shaco. Like, he put boxes in both of the bushes, which never popped. He jumped over the wall just to have to run back around the wall to even get into the fight, and just sort of ended up completely out of the fight. So they got 2v3'd there, basically entirely by Philly B. And then I like this play on the bot side. I like trying to push your advantage, and good that they did get the kill. Otherwise, this would have been a bit of a disaster, blowing the TP and both dying as well on the bot side. As we go back to live, we got a bit of action here on the top side. Philly B picking up another kill. The J4 is down. The Tristana's got 5. Night Raven's running for his life, but he's not getting out of this one. Zhao PP here on the back of the Elise pops the blast cone. That's good insight there. Oh, but the ultimate is down from the Fury. I was going to see if Night Ravens can pick up a kill here. He can. Oh, he does get one at the end.
Oh,
and he starts getting the healing off. They're actually falling really low. Now, Night Ravens is going to escape. Philly B couldn't get over the wall there. May just not have had the rocket jump off cooldown, but Night Ravens makes the play on the top side.
Yeah, absolutely huge pickup to deny that and then pick up kills yourself and picking up one on Crushing Rock. Just great rotation by TMGD to move their AD carry to that mid side and make things happen. But holy cow, as we see TMGD got to go knock on the door of this second Drake of the game.
Yeah, they're looking to stack them. They say, we got the first one, we want the second one. Screw those grubs, you can have them. But a bloody start here, 15 kills in only 12.5 minutes. Homura using his clone to kind of get vision, kind of trying to push FP off the blue buff. That's a funny one. Just using the clone itself there, as they are going to take down the Mountain Dragon. Jed trying his best to get out, but has no flash. The Mega Inferno Bob does not do enough damage to get you out of that one. Ziggs will fall as well. That's a kill over to Fist on the Twisted Fate. Gold dead even between these teams. 2 dragons to none for TMG.
Yeah, big thing to note is the gold is fairly spread out on the side of TMGD versus IDH. Tristana is the gold. As we see, use that to take down Crushing Rock and take down this first turn of the game. Should secure them the feats of strength and those upgraded boots.
Yeah, absolutely. Philly B is putting on a masterclass here in the Tristana. I mean, what a performance so far. After the showing he had in game 1, this is really impressive.
Yeah, and we still have 6 grubs. I mean, Zhao's still going to be able to get this. The cool thing about IDH's comp is as the game goes on, Ziggs will push towers down.
Yep.
Tristana will push towers down. Jax will push towers down. Like, you can't leave any of them alone, right? Like, there are some comps where it's like, yeah, we can leave you alone. You're not going to push as fast, whatever. You don't have that option. Like, especially with 6 grubs, like, anybody who gets in a side lane is going to be an immediate quick threat to towers and to your base. So that mid and end game macro is going to be very important from IDH as this game goes on.
Absolutely. The threat of the Jax in the side lane, though, significantly lessened by the fact that he is down almost 2 levels in this top lane here. Down only about 12, 13 CS, but the XP lead is substantial. The actual item completion for Night Ravens is well above Fuzzy Bear, excuse me. But we'll have to see. The Jax not the focal point of this game, though, so far. It has been Philly B in the mid lane. And the way that he has worked with Zhao PP and Xanthera, right? They have worked as a trio so well to get this Tristana so far ahead. As we'll have to see. TMGD looking for a play on the bot side here. The Cataclysm down. Ziggs has no way out of that one.
Yeah, I wonder what Jed's thought process was like. I don't know why you're checking that bush. Like, if there's that saying, it's like, if you have to ward a bush to see if somebody's there, you should just assume they're there, right?
Yeah, they're there.
If you don't ward it, you're dead. So what's the point? I mean, I got to think that clone and bullet time, a little bit of a combo, probably not quite doing it.
Yeah, bullet time just out of range of fully hitting Philly B, but Xanthera is stuck in there, doesn't have the flash. Night Ravens is here, gonna put a lot of damage on. Wow, Fizz flashing over the wall. Philly B forced the flash as well. Really proactive play there on the TF. I like the use of the MF ult, trying to push him out. Said, you guys are pushed up too far. You don't have your AD. We can take a tower off of this one. But Mega Inferno Bomb may clear out the wave, may keep them from taking the tower? Nah, the cannon lives long enough. They're going to get it.
Yeah.
As, ooh, a bit of a fight here in the jungle. JP trying to come in and take his red buff, but Philly B actually fell to the jungler. Now Hamura just being a menace. Fears him with the Jack in the Box, but oh, nice to repel to the box. Hamura does a lot of damage on the Shaco there, somehow igniting down the Elise, but the red buff should eventually fall to Ninja and the Jarvan here. We'll see. No, Xanthera gonna push him out. JP is still here. Hamura's gonna go over the wall and kill him, isn't he? No, not quite able to find him. Zenith Blade lands on a Floops, though. He's going to die on the Jarvan. Now, JP trying to escape from the Shaco. This guy is such a menace, but it's just never quite getting it done. On the bot side here, there's another fight going on. Fozzie Bear going in, Crushing Rock forced to flash out from the Jax. Oh, it is a bloodbath.
Yeah, we see Philly B kind of TPing this top side, trying to save this turret from Night Ravens, and you know, Night Raven's up some good XP, but IDH doing a pretty good job trying to stay inside this game. So I gotta, like I said, I appreciate them being proactive, making plays. You know, as we look at the gold, obviously, you know, Philly B up a little over 1,000 gold. As we see, you know, Fozzie Bear's only down 600. I mean, I'm not too upset, especially when you consider that rotation and how many plays. You know, he lost 3 plays on that play alone. That's almost the entire gold. I mean, that's.
Look at jungle.
It's true.
Right, this Jarvan is up a little over just about 1,000 gold over the Elise somehow.
Yeah, it's just
I don't even know. Yeah, it's just kills, I guess.
Just kills. Yeah, just, you know, four kills additional up, and that's gonna be a big thing there. And then of course the AD carry Zed's still maintaining a lead, even though he's kind of been picked off a couple of times. But yeah, this Philly B, I mean, we've got to continue to see them play through Tristana, right? She has 2 fully completed items, the quick blades. That's where we got to see as she has the going towards that IE third item, I assume.
Yeah, this is a strong spike, and they're going to look to fight around it, but it's actually really hard for them to get into the objective here. Now we're starting to see the value of the Shaco as a great cancel on the Zenith Blade there from Hamura, as they're going to keep going in. Yeah, not much as Leona can do. He's fleeing back into the whole team. Hamura finally gets it done on the Shaco. We're starting to see the value of the pick. You set up for the objective. If you get there first, you could set up with those Jack-in-the-Boxes and just be such a nuisance. Completely 1v5 zones IDH off of the objective.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, Zalaf recognizing this, looking to trade objectives here, and I can see that. But yeah, Shaco, Hamura, putting in a lot of work. I mean, like you said, those boxes getting real annoying, and Xanthera just getting caught out.
Yeah, and it just feels bad if you're IDH trying to walk into those boxes. Like, you have to try and push out your lanes, go through the lanes, but if you go through the jungle at all, you're finding like 3-4 boxes. He's not afraid to just ult in your face and just like make your life annoying. He's not trying to kill you. He's just trying to like waste a lot of your time, and I kind of respect it. I see what it's doing. We're gonna see if TMGD could get this bot tower here. It looks like they're not gonna be able to. Jed gonna burn the TP just to defend it. Actually keeping up both their top and bot towers so far as the tier 1s go. Gold just about even still. As we see this game, the important thing I want to call our attention to, though, is that it is 3 dragons for TMG Death Knights to 0 for IDH. That could be sort of the crucial breaking point in this game.
Oh, yeah, Jed's looking like he's in trouble here.
Yeah, he uses the Inferno Bomb on the wave, is stunned up under the tower, though. Floop's going to go into the Cataclysm, but gonna die to the tower before they can even get Jed. He picks up 2 kills there on the Ziggs, and the tower's still alive. Really well played defense from the Ziggs there. You normally see him crushing towers, playing a little tower defense there. That is apparently 81 HP on the tower there. So close to falling. Little standing gold. It'll go TMGD's way at some point. But they're going to turn that play around and get a tier 1 bot tower of their own. Philly B with 6 grubs. Just popping that tower wide open. So much gold on the Tristana here. A little bit of a gold lead opened up for IDH, but still anyone's game.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want to happen, right? Like, you're taking your Fozzie Bear and Zhao are actually at the top taking this Rift Herald, right? And essentially making a cross-map play. So TMGD tries to take advantage of this and then kind of botches the dive. And you know, if you're IDH, this is perfect. Exactly what you want to see here. Ooh,
yeah, cross-map plays are better when you win the weak side of it too, right? But Night Ravens got a little bit of a sticky situation here. Does get the tier 1 tower. Now going to try to run for his life. Pops the challenge onto Fozzie Bear. We'll see if he can get out of this. Doesn't even riposte the E there, though. Gets a stun somehow still, but I guess it was on the cocoon. But yeah, just too much damage. Has the flash jab. Not even going to burn it. Just goes, nope, I'm dead. I got the tower traded for my life. That's okay.
Yeah, and hey, you know what? The upside to Fozzie Bear here is he's still going to be able to make an impact. And they were going to start it up here, and maybe they still are on full vision. So we're going to have to see how TMGD decides to respond. That bullet time is an available cooldown, so something to keep your eye on here.
Yeah, they killed the top laner, but it is still just a 4v4 as Jed is not here. Gonna have to walk up to the bot river, doesn't have the teleport. Health bars are much higher on the side of TMGD, but the Otacon is burning down quick. Doesn't matter about the smite though. All you want is the flowers afterwards. Zenith Blade lands on the crushing rock, but Zendera is in there too far. The Cataclysm comes in, JPP falls. The health bars are so low for IDH, but Philly B just consistently gets it done. The Inferno Bomb comes through as Jed is almost here, but the flowers are on the ground and they are being picked up by TMGD. Fist flashes forwards, doesn't quite catch Synthera, but Night Ravens has TP'd in. Doesn't matter that he died at the start. TMGD turned the fight around, pick up all the flowers.
Yeah, that's a bold call to take this Otacon here. I get it. I think they want to like push the tempo here, but I mean, we'll just have to see. I mean, this bullet time being slightly effective, the stun here on Crushing Rock, but he just still Zynthera really kind of locks him down. Great job. I mean, but ultimately it just doesn't end up mattering. And Zynthera does have their AD carry locked down, but in that process, the whole team still kind of loses the fight on the other side.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Crushing Rock does just get to walk in there and one-tap someone after getting everything canceled at the start of the fight. But you're right, it's a bit of a questionable call. I get it, they're trying to push their lead, but this is the kind of play we can make if Ziggs still has his TP up, right? If he's on the bot side, this is a weird cross map to make when Ziggs is like stuck between committing to try and push in the bot tier 2 or move up to the play to help his team. I think you maybe start the Otacon to draw them up there and then pull off of it and let Jed just push out the bot wave once you realize that it's a 4v4 that you're not going to win. Or we just don't take this Otacon play at all, as now we see the gold has evened up a little bit, still roughly even as Fozzie Bear going in a little bit for a trade on the FYS, but gonna have to run as the bot tier 1 only had that 81 HP. Fozzie Bear is gonna get out though. They're gonna be totally fine here. Overloading the bot side of the map with members as the dragon is coming up in 30 seconds. Ocean Soul point for TMG Death Knights. How do you want to see IDH play this?
Well, step one, you have to contest, right? You can't give this up. You got to be very careful not to go too much here. I mean, I think your best option here is get mid prio, push out that mid wave, and enter river there. I think you've got to recognize that Shaco has this jungle covered. You can't do it here. So I want to see exactly what they're doing. Is push this mid wave out, and then let's look to enter from the mid wave. Let's look to get in here. And obviously they have a little bit of vision down so they can see some things going on. Ooh, great repel.
Yeah, TMG sees it coming though. They're ready in the mid bush. On the flank though is Fozzie Bears. You see Philly B picks up the first kill of the fight. Bullet time largely goes wide. Hamor taking very low. Oh, Philly B again jumping and gets the reset. The Destiny is popped. Fist is trying to go into Philly B and he will get him in the end there. Ooh, yeah, just barely takes out the shot on Fozzie Bears in the middle of everyone. He is popping him as the Jax. Oh, but not quite able to do it. Great damage coming out from Night Ravens. Crushing Rock gonna clean up the fight. 5 for 3 in favor of TMGD. It is a bloody fight, but at the end of the day, the Ocean Soul goes the way of TMGD. Just like everything else in this series, IDH put up a valiant effort, but it's just not quite enough.
Yeah, and Zynthera kind of getting stuck over here by Night Ravens. Not really effective. I mean, unfortunately, the Eclipse, the Solar Flare, they're just like not stopping bullet time. So just Zynthera not able to make such a huge impact. And Twisted Fate still having that ultimate up. Philly B, great attempt, and you can see that damage even with basically one auto away. He gets a ton done, but
crucial there at the end too that the Jax falls to the Fiora there, gets stunned up by the riposte. I liked what Philly B did. I liked the attempt, but he realized he rocket jumped reset straight into 3 people and immediately had to flash back out. And if we hadn't lost that charge, maybe if we played it a little slower, a little safer, something slightly better could have come out of that team fight. At the end of the day, the gold is still dead even, but the Ocean Soul to TMGD is going to make this game that much harder for IDH.
Yeah, and Shaco, just like you said, been kind of an absolute menace in this game. Zhao not having the breakout performance that we saw last week from the Elise. And we'll have to see here if Philly B, obviously the clone and those boxes.
I feel like he's going to live.
So much work. Yeah, I would have to.
Okay, maybe not this time. Maybe not this time. This time, I think he might die. Never mind. Sorry, I eat my words. Caster curse. Complete caster curse. That one's my fault. Even Shaco can't escape those ones. But you're right. Being a menace, he's getting in there. He's setting up the vision. He's just annoying them. He's tracking the enemy jungler. He's tracking the enemy support, saying, I don't need to be in a lane. All of my players are self-sufficient. I'm just going to go find the enemy team and just, like, poke at them until they run away.
Yeah, I mean, Fist just slowly, like, the game started off very poor for him, but maintained a CS lead. That passive, he's still down 2K, but, something to point out, that passive gold kind of keeping him in. And then he has 20 stacks on a Magi's right now. So his damage is definitely on par, with the gold that Philly B has. Obviously, Tristana still having that better burst damage, but FYS able to keep up. I mean, this is a lot closer than you would think.
It really is, but again, that Ocean Soul, I think, is just going to end up being the deciding factor here, right? The fact that they got all of those Drakes, like, not uncontested, but they got them all pretty solidly and securely. It makes it so much easier for them to push in, for them to take this vision, because they could just heal up from the trades. They could take these skirmishes. They're less afraid on the side lanes. Yeah, they don't have the grubs, but they just probably don't even need them, as they could take these fights. As you see, they're setting up vision on the top side for the Baron here. Night Ravens, again, this is like the fourth time we've seen IDH try to make this play on the Night Ravens. They try to catch him on side lanes, but he is just smarter than that. He does not get caught on these side waves, and TMGD is going to take a whole tower up in the top lane as a response.
Yeah, and just Night Raven's still up 2 levels. Like you said, that experience lead is huge. And really, Fozzie, especially with Ocean Soul, like, you can't really answer him, right? Like you're hoping that Night Ravens messes up there. Is Jawop going to take that camp and say, not this time. This one's still for me. But, going to go ahead and just get out of there. Destiny just going to hop him away, and we'll see here as this red buff is highly contested.
Pops that is an efficient recall, we'll say. It's just the clone from Homura going to blow up to the Inferno bomb there. As we see a bit of a TP behind from Night Ravens. They want to look to make this play. Ooh, a great satchel charge to disengage from Jed, but a tower falls in the mid lane. TMGD can just pull right back to the Baron if they want to. They have complete vision control at the top side of the map. Yeah, and here it is. They're going to pull right back to the Baron, clearing out that blue trinket. They're going to start burning it down. They're going to do a lot of good damage to this Homura. Going to try and poke him off. Going to try and keep him out. The Baron is burning down to 9K, 8K, 7K, dropping fast. IDH not quite in the area to find it. Oh, but they're going to turn off the Baron and look for a fight. Bullet time again going wide, but Fozzie Bear is in there way too deep. The Jax is going to get blown up. Oh my god, Xiao PP falls immediately. Ninja with the EQ flash in there. TMGD with a clean 4 for nothing. Philly B may have had the advantage early in the game, but it doesn't mean anything when you fall this quickly. TMGD says, screw the Baron. We don't need it. We're going to try and push and end this game right here.
Yeah, no, absolutely great turn by TMGD. I mean, just absolutely well executed. And Fozzie Bear trying to buy space for his team, trying to do those things. As Jed just going to get taken out under tower, doing as much damage as he can, just not able to get it done. As you always have decent timers here. I mean, if you're TMGD, I mean, you're going to take 2 inhibs for sure, and probably just go ahead and retreat to this Baron anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it's an end angle. The timers are back up. IDH has respawned. The Ocean Soul is healing up TMGD quite a lot, which is really, really funny. We'll see. I don't think they could even retreat to the Baron here. Probably just going to have to claim the inhib and the tower and just say recall. Nomura going to set up even more vision on the bot side. Elder Dragon now, though, is up in about a minute. We're going to see probably the final fight of the game around that Elder Dragon. See if TMGD can close it out 3-0 over IDH, or if they can make a miracle comeback, but it's looking pretty rough.
Yeah, the one thing here for IDH is that they are going to have full vision. They're going to get that Scuttle Crab, able to clear any vision out, and really able to set themselves up for this fight. So it's the one thing they have. Of course, we do see Zed has TP up, but is going to clear that top wave out first. And Fozzie Bear still down 2 levels. Tristana looks like they're backing to finish off an item here. It should be that Bloodthirster is going to be finished off as they are sprinting. TP still available, but the downside is there's still we have some vision down for IDH, right? But Homura already getting this vision in, boxes are getting set up, and I think if you're IDH, you still have to do the same thing. You need to push out that mid wave, and you have to enter through river, because if you enter through this jungle, Homura is just going to take you apart.
Yeah, it all comes down to this. The Elder Dragon has spawned. IDH have a chance to make their last stand here in the Vanquisher League? Can they do it and keep their dreams alive? Or is TMGD just too strong to contest? We'll see. Xanthera and Zhao PP trying to clear out this mid brush, but not quite able to do it. Jed is here. Philly B is on a bit of a flank. Oh, but J4 is on maybe an even bigger flank. Night Raven's just walking in. Fozzie Bear seems a little bit caught out on the Jack's gonna get out. The clone in there from Hamura just being annoying, putting down some pokes. And Thera taken down a little low, same as Zhao PP, down to about half on both of them. Fist putting out so much damage, and Floops goes in on the Jarvan. As they come back in, Mega Inferno Bomb does a good bit of damage, but the bullet time is huge, splitting up the fight, dealing tons of damage. The Cataclysm was saved for this very moment. As Floops puts it down on the bot side of the fight, he may fall, but he is taking IDH down with him. Philly B is rocket jumping, blast cone, and leaping, skipping, and hopping out on the bot side of this fight, but it just doesn't matter. Crushing Rock is too fast. He is gonna find him. He is gonna love tap him, and that should be the game for TMGD. We'll see Jed and Fozzie Bear trying their best to defend the base here. Again, I don't know if they have the firepower to push to end, but they're gonna turn it into a Baron instead for TMGD. You have to imagine look at the Elder as well. This game is looking over.
Yeah, I mean, Xanthera, I mean, great Eclipse. Or Solar Flare, excuse me. I mean, great to kind of bright up that fight, but just they're still so behind money-wise. I just, unfortunately, at that stage, just some great items, much better coordinated plays. I mean, that was just a very broken up fight by IDH, not really coordinating some of those abilities. And Jet, like, putting out decent damage, but Tristana really kind of being stuck on one character and not being able to take that character out. And as we said, Hamura, you know, we had puzzled looks on our faces. And I'll stand by that for this Shaco, but he's putting in a ton of work. Just buying so much time with that clone and doing so much damage over time and just really, again, making these fights hard to play out.
I get the vision. I maintain it's probably still not very good, but like I get what we're doing here, and if anyone can make it work, it is TMGD. It is Hamura on this Shaco, doing the work, doing God's work on the Shaco here. Papa the Clone setting up the vision for this final Elder Dragon fight. TMGD complete control of the River of the Destiny is Pop. They have full vision of IDH. Fozzie Bear's going in, but he is in a little bit too far. Counter-Strike wears out, force the flashback. Floops is in the backside, though, still holding up the Cataclysm there. Grouped up on IDH. The Grand Challenge is down. Night Raven's dashing out. Hamura is in there invisibly, though, as here comes Floop with the Cataclysm with the bullet time. They finally get the combo off. Fozzie Bear deleted. Inferno Bomb doesn't quite take out Crushing Rock. Night Raven's in the backside, taking absolutely no damage. He's going in, and it's a clean fight for TMGD so far. It's the story of the series. IDH try their best to fight back, but they just do no damage. TMG Death Knights will win this Vanquisher League quarterfinals. We'll be moving on as your first contestants in the semifinals. TMG Death Knights take the win.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to say there. I just, much better play, very good coordination. The Cataclysm bullet time, absolutely well executed. Fozzie Bear just completely taken out of that fight. And TMGD proving why they are the arguably best team in our Vanquisher League split this season.
Yeah, they are certainly looking like it. Had a bit of a shaky week last week in those seeding matches, but they are back there saying best of 5 fearless. It's our time. Those best of 1s don't matter. It doesn't matter. We're the 3 seed. We can take down anyone. They have proven time and time again. They are such a versatile team. They have such strong solo laners, great synergy across the board. If they can win with Shaco, I think we got to give it to them.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it just reminds me of like the teams you see at Worlds where like they're crushing their opponent, right? They get to a game 3 when they're up 2-0 and they get, you know what skin I would like? I would like a Shaco skin. And they lock in a Shaco, right? I mean, that's what it makes me think of. If it was a skin creation for Titan Esports, we know that Hamura's picking Shaco, right?
Kind of what Hanwha Life did to TL a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately.
Tell me.
Picking Kale and all that at the first stand tournament was a little painful. I know we're both a little bit TL fans over here, but again, just a huge victory for TMG DK. If there was any doubt in anyone's mind that they are the front runners of this competition, it is my personal opinion that it should be gone. They are doing so well.
Oh yeah, and IDH, I mean, shout out to them. They made it competitive for a while in 2 of those games, right?
Totally.
But just the biggest thing here, and we talk about this, and ease of execution does play a factor, but TMGD just out executed over and over and over in all of those games. And that's why you see their victory. I mean, they are much more coordinated. You know, Fis and Ninja, you know, playing very, very well together. Hamura and Ninja playing very, very well together. Crushing Rock understanding his role in this team a lot of times is just to
Yeah.
get himself some time and not kind of in the bot lane and allow Hamura to kind of help impact the rest of the map. And then eventually, like, hey, I'm still an 80 carry. I have 8 to 10 CS a minute. I have my items. Now I'm just going to take over a team fight. Like you said, TMGD just able to play through all their lanes. Again, another great performance. You know, shout out to IDH. You guys put up a fight. We could appreciate it, but again, TMGD taking it out.
Absolutely. Showed signs of life, especially they got so much better throughout the series. Really, like, I think it was very clear that game one, they were a little shaky. Philly B, especially, like, he put in so much work in this game on the Tristana. His first game on Azir was really rough. Like, he did a lot of damage, but he was just going in and dying for no reason. So, like, a great turnaround performance from him. And I really, really respect what he was able to do here. But IDH just not able to stand up to the firepower of TMG Death Knights. They can win through any lane. They've proven it time and time again. They are going to be our first people moving on to the semifinals so far. None of the rest of our series, I believe, are over yet. They are in the bottom side of our bracket, so they will play against the winners of Half Orc Barbarians and Rubber Ducky Gaming. As far as I can tell, that series is currently 1-2 in favor of Rubber Ducky. Which would be a bit of an upset so far.
Okay,
If they can pull that out, but either way, TMG Death Knights will have probably a harder matchup next week. We saw them lose to Half Orcs last week in the seeding matches, right? So anything can happen going forwards, but I think after this, you have to say that TMG Death Knights are a front runner. But Vanquisher League is clearly competitive, right? We've got a lot of really great teams here. Elysian, Omega Gaming, still really, really good, looking like they might win their matches as well heading into the semifinals next week. But that is going to do it for us here at the Vanquisher League. Again, I'm Mojo Powell. That's Leslie. So happy to be back on the cast with you, buddy. Great time. Peace out.